Hello guys, welcome back to Fanfic Dojo. Today we will be listening to What If Naruto Approached Ino instead of Sakura at Academy Part 2. Sakura ran after them while still all dirty. She then stopped to see if she could see them. Sakura, Naruto said as he caught up to her, we must find the dogs. Sakura nodded, yes, obviously. Wait, Kakashi gave me these leashes. Take half. Naruto got 4 and Sakura kept the rest. After Sakura ran towards the other direction, Naruto activated his shadow clones. Shadow clone jutsu. He yelled as about 10 of Naruto's appeared. After those Ninken, the real Naruto yelled as they all ran dramatically in slow motion. Meanwhile, Sakura couldn't stop thinking of Naruto. He seems normal. Looks like he really doesn't care if I go out with anyone. She frowned as she looked around for any signs of the dogs. Sakura ran around the corner and saw Garuko and Pakun eating some food that was on the floor. Pakun! Sakura yelled as she ran up to them. The people around her gasped in surprise and disgust as they quickly moved out the way. Pakun and Garuko nodded at each other and ran in opposite directions, causing Sakura to angrily scream, "Get back here, Pakun!" Garuko. Seeing that both were leaving in opposite directions, she hesitated. I'm gonna have to do this, she said as she quickly summoned another 2 other hers. You go after Garuko, Sakura said to Sakura number 3. The other nodded as she ran with a leash in her hand after Garuko. The second was assigned to search for any other dogs. Sakura glared at Pakun running away and jumping on buildings, causing panic. Paku uunn. Sakura yelled angrily as she ran after him. Ah, shit, Pakun thought. Maybe I shouldn't have gotten too carried away, she seems pissed. But before he could jump out towards another building, he felt his leg get pulled and was suddenly pulled down with a lot of force. Opening his eyes, he yelped to see a very pissed off Sakura. Pakun, she said in a threatening voice while clipping on his leash on his collar. Pakun sighed as he let himself get picked up by Sakura. Now to get Garuko, she said as she ran with him. Meanwhile, Sakura number 3 had finally caught Garuko. Finally. Whoops. Can't get too far or else I'll disappear, she said as she leashed him up. Is it really you? Turning around, her eyes grew wide with tears falling down, filled with overwhelming joy, Naruto number 2. Both dropped their dogs and ran in slow motion towards each other while extremely dramatic music played in the background. Garuko sighed as he sat down waiting for them to be finished. Ue was caught by Naruto number 2, but was dropped, so he sat down next to Garuko. So, what else are we supposed to do? He asked in boredom. They are together now, so do we just. It's not the real them, Baka, Garuko sighed, we have to bring the real ones together. Sakura number 3 cried as she pulled Naruto number 2 into a big tight hug, it feels as if I haven't seen you in forever. I've missed you so much. He hugged back tightly and grinned, I just couldn't stop thinking of you. You're always on my mind. Oh, Naruto number 2. Sakura number 3 said happily as she was going to lean in for a kiss. Sakura, the real one, came in to interrupt the scene. Naruto number 2 placed his arms around Sakura number 3, hey. Why aren't you two back together? We're like dying to be together. Sakura frowned, you know nothing between the real Naruto and I. Sakura walked over to grab Garuko and Ue. Where is Sakura number 2? Sakura asked. Walked too far away, Ue mumbled. Sakura sighed and walked away with 3 dogs on her leash. Just then, Naruto ran up to Sakura, hey. I caught Akino and Shiba. Sakura nodded and took the leashes, thanks. Just then, the rest of his clones, except for Naruto number 2, came in with the remaining dogs. We caught him, boss, they all said in union. Naruto grinned, alright, now to deactivate you all. Thanks so much. But just after he deactivated, they all heard a loud scream. Both turned around to see Sakura number 3 crying on the floor, no. Naruto ran up to her, Hey, what happened? Sakura crossed her arms, nothing. And without another second to pass, Sakura number 3 disappeared. Sakura grabbed the rest of the leashes and turned her head towards Naruto. Thanks for your help. She mumbled as she began to walk the dogs back towards Kakashi's place. Naruto frowned and grabbed Sakura's hand. Wait. Kakashi, Asuma, and Guy all waited anxiously to what would happen next. Did you see those clones? Asuma said, they have feelings. Guy's eyes grew wide and said, maybe this wasn't such a bad idea, they seem to be doing okay. Damn it, he thought, my rival is going to win. Kakashi gave a sigh of relief, alright good. Sakura looked up to see Naruto holding her hand, yes. Oh no, she thought, my heart is beating fast again, just like the times before. Naruto blushed a bit and quickly said, what I meant was that, you can't take care of all these dogs by yourself. Sakura frowned a bit, yes I can. He gave a knowing grin, then why were you covered in food and begging for help? She sighed and gave him half of the leashes, fine. The Ninken listened to this and all nodded to each other. Without another word, they all began to run, dragging Sakura and Naruto on the floor. Ah! They both screamed as dirt covered their face and mouth. Pakun! Sakura yelled as she got up while still being pulled. She looked next to her to see Naruto running at their speed, bull. But they suddenly stopped in the middle of a weird part of town. What are we doing here? Sakura asked while brushing the dirt off of her skirt. It was considered the most romantic part of Konoha. Couples were everywhere and the place was covered in romantic stuff. Naruto looked around and shook his head, we can't be here. Sakura looked over at him and gave a sigh, feeling a bit disappointed, yay, let's just bring these guys back towards Kakashi. He might be home already. But suddenly the Ninken ran in towards a building. Whoa! Sakura cried out, calm down. The place looked like some giant kitchen. The main chef gasped at them and yelled, what do we have here? Sakura bowed down and quickly said, we are so sorry, we will be leaving soon. But the chef smiled as she clapped her hand along with the rest of the employees. What? Naruto said a bit confused. Congratulations. The chef grinned, this couple is the winner for bringing in the most dogs. What? They both yelled. The chef gave them a slip of paper and grinned, you are the winner for getting the most dogs. Now hand them over. Sakura frowned, wait, hand them over. First of all, we never entered no concert. Second of all, why do you want the dogs? We aren't going to give them to you. The chef gave a glare towards Sakura, don't you know how the meat tastes so good? It isn't regular meat, it's dog meat. Now hand them over, you signed the contract. The Ninken's eyes grew wide. Kakashi, what the hell did you do? They all thought Kakashi had told them to bring those two here, because they had won a romantic dinner, or some bullshit. This wasn't in their contract. Sakura glared at her and yelled, like hell we are handing these dogs over. These are Ninken. Even better. The chef angrily yelled. Naruto then said, that's enough. Come on Sakura, let's go. No, you don't. The chef yelled as she stood in the way, hand over the dogs. Move out the way, lady. Pakun yelled annoyed. The chef gasped, they really are Ninken. And we are real ninjas. Sakura sighed and pushed her way out. Naruto followed behind and the chef came in running after them, wait. I thought you were all bluffing. Oh my god, you could have easily killed me. Ninjas. Let me repay you. Sakura looked over at Naruto, who looked a bit annoyed, let's get out of here. Kakashi and Guy watched the chef run after them while yelling out, free coupons. No dogs. I swear it was all a joke. What is she talking about, Kakashi? Guy asked. Kakashi slapped his forehead, oh my god, I must have done something stupid. Where's Asuma, by the way? Asuma appeared behind them and chuckled, well, Kakashi, seems that you lost. This was, by far worse, the worst idea to ever come to you. Stick to being a ninja. Kakashi frowned. Shut up, I'm not done. Asuma and Guy looked at him a bit confused. What? Kakashi chuckled. Don't you know? That little kids love dogs. Just then, a swarm of little kids came running towards Naruto and Sakura. Little kids. They both yelled. A whole bunch of kids came over and squealed in joy to seeing so many dogs. Can we pet them, mister? They yelled excitedly. Sakura looked over at Naruto, who was grinning while nodding, of course. They don't bite. Sakura grinned at them and gave a sigh. Ah, they are so cute. But a little girl saw Sakura and screamed, ah. Sakura cried a bit, but they seem to hate me. Naruto grinned. No they don't, you just give the wrong vibe. She frowned. What's wrong with me? I smile and some run away. Are they scared of my forehead or something? Naruto was about to tell her that she was perfect and that there was nothing wrong with having a forehead like that. But he stopped and looked around. You can't go on. You must stop. A little boy came and smiled at Naruto. Is this your and girlfriend's dogs? Sakura quickly said, ah. No, he isn't my boyfriend. The little boy frowned a bit. Yes he is. You have pink hair and he has yellow hair. It's blonde. Naruto began, but was cut off by the little boy, and you two look like mommy and daddy. Oh my god, this is awkward. Sakura gulped while nervously smiling to him. The boy continued, my dad also has yellow hair. My mom has pink hair, too. Well, it's the weird pink. Pakun saw this and lay on Sakura's lap and then on his back. Sakura rolled her eyes and then petted his stomach while the little boy watched. Can I pet him? He asked anxiously. Sakura nodded as the little boy petted Pakun's head. But it was a bit too rough, even for Pakun. Ow, stupid kid, he really. Don't pull my ear, Pakun thought. The little boy laughed and then looked at Naruto. When did you get all these dogs? Where do you two live? Can I come see them every day? What is it with this kid? Naruto thought as he said, actually, these aren't really our dogs. Sakura interrupted him, these are our teacher's dogs. The little boy's eyes grew wide. Whoa. So can I go to your sensei's house and see them every day? Wait, so you don't have any kids? I want a little brother, but my mom is going to have a girl. Sakura nervously laughed. Really? Naruto didn't feel right, so he was going to say he had to go, when Konohamaru came in. Hey yo Naruto. He ran up to them, but then stopped. What's this? I thought you broke up with her. Sakura sighed and leaned back, listening to all the kids talk at the same time. I want 4 brothers. Ma'am, can I pet the big black dog? These dogs smell funny. Naruto, answer me. Ew. Dog breath. Is that food on you, ma'am? Looky. That dog is licking your leg. Sakura couldn't take it anymore. She looked down to see Akino licking her leg. Why did I agree to this? Sakura thought as she stood up. The little boy from before frowned a bit. Hey. You didn't answer me. Can I have fur brothers? Sakura looked at him and with a painful tiresome look she nodded. Yes, go ask your parents. But they don't want to. Where do you get brothers? How much do they cost? Sakura's eyes started to twitch a bit. They can't be bought. Are you sure? My dad said they bought my sister at the baby store. Let's go. Maybe they have brothers in there. Konohamaru laughed at him and said, hey. You can't buy babies. You gotta make them. Sakura and Naruto's eyes grew wide and quickly went to cover his mouth. Shut up. Before the little boy could say anything, Sakura grabbed the collars and said, oh. Well, you just look at the time. Have to go now. See you all later. She left even before Naruto could say another word. The little boy looked up at Naruto and said, is your girlfriend mad at you? Naruto continued to watch Sakura leave and said without thinking, what? No, she's just tired. Realizing what he had just said, Naruto frowned at the boy. I mean she's not my girlfriend anymore. Konohamaru laughed and said, yay right. You always think of her. Woo woo. Mwah mwah. Naruto sighed and began to walk away. That's enough, Konohamaru. I'm going home. Kakashi groaned and stood up. Fine. I admit I am shit at this. Guy patted his back and said, it's okay. But now, it's my turn. Hiya. Asuma shrugged and followed Guy with Kakashi following a bit disappointed. Slash dash slash dash slash dash. Sakura made it to Kakashi's house and then she realized, oh no. I didn't take them to the spa. Pakun sighed and said, that's alright. It doesn't matter. She glared at him, why are you talking all of a sudden now? Pakun gave a small yelp, it wasn't our idea. Kakashi's the one who had to go on a mission. Kakashi said quickly as he reached Sakura. He gulped, what happened here? Sakura crossed her arms and said, you tell me. These aren't Ninken. Why didn't they act like normal dogs? They acted like rabid animals. They spilled food all over me. Kakashi quickly nodded, yay, and what about Naruto? Are you two going out now? Sakura scoffed, what? It's still the same, he only sees me as a friend. There's nothing left. Not wanting to talk about it anymore, she dismissed herself and headed on home. Kakashi sighed and then glared at his Ninken, no spa. What? Ah. They all groaned, we did our job to act like dogs. Rabid dogs. What the hell is all this mess? Kakashi sighed as fake tears slipped his eyes, it was supposed to be like in that one part in the makeout tactics. Pakun's sweat dropped, what? The part where the girl is walking her dog and the guy comes in and they are all like, oh hey. And then fall in love thanks to dogs. Pakun and the rest all shook their head in disappointment. Kakashi really was a lost hope. You still owe us that spa. Dash slash dash slash dash slash dash. Sakura had made it to her house and headed on towards the shower and stripped off and into the shower. Ew. I can taste it, she sighed as she felt the water go to her mouth, bringing the food that was on her head there. Angrily, she grabbed shampoo and scrubbed her hair. He's driving me crazy, she said. I can't be near him, he's making me lose my mind. Scrubbing her arms she mumbled out loud, I just need to take my mind off, I need to do something. Finally getting done, she got out and dried herself, anything. She brushed her hair and looked at herself in the mirror, alright, what to do? When she went to change and finished changing into normal clothes, she sat at her bed. I'll just go find 1010 and hang out with her since Ino is busy, Sakura nodded to herself. But just as she was going to open the front door to head out, she was surprised by Guy. Guy-sensei. Sakura said a bit surprised, did you need something? Guy gave his big grin and said, why yes. How about we go training? The power of youth needs to be overflowing in you. Let's go. Sakura's eyes grew wide as she said, I was about to go ask 1010 to come train with me, but I can go with you. Will Lee or 1010 be there? Guy laughed and motioned her to come, actually, I want to teach you something. You know a special training technique. Sakura gave a confused look but then smiled, sure. So, what are we going to do? Wait, he said suddenly. Sakura stopped in mid-tracks and said, yes. Guy handed her one of his green outfits and said, here put this on, you will feel much better with this. It will make you feel like you are invincible. Sakura got the outfit and gave a sour face, sure. After changing again, she came out with Guy's usual green outfit. I really hope no one sees me in this. She sighed as she followed Guy to the training grounds. Let's head on over with our hands. He said as he got on his hands and walked around Sakura, let's go. Sakura hesitated, but then gave in. She got on her hands and took a while to balance. Now, Guy began, let us race towards the training grounds. Last one there has to do 1000 sit-ups in 5 different locations today. Sakura's eyes grew wide as she tried to gulp, 1,000. You mean 5,000? Yes. Now begin. And within a second he disappeared. Sakura gave a determined face and quickly followed behind, with the help of her chakra. She had finally reached up to him and continued forward while Guy laughed, filled with excitement. All right. They were both tired and could soon see the training grounds. Guy then made a sharp turn, making Sakura a bit confused, but then she saw why. A whole bunch of chickens were crossing the road and she screamed, "Ah! Get out the way!" She closed her eyes and pushed forward. The chickens were all flapping their wings and jumping all over her. Feathers got in her mouth, making her spit it out. Gross. When she opened her eyes, she almost screamed, "Cows!" She had to jump in the air and jump over them, landing on her hands again. She was breathing hard as a wave of relief washed over her. I would have gotten hurt. She didn't see, however, the herd of goats coming her way. Her eyes grew wide as she screamed, "Gah!" Guy Sensei knew of this. She thought angrily as she tried to push past the goats. People kept looking at her as if she were mad. What the? She bumped into a goat, which pushed her, causing her to walk backwards on her hands. Whoa, whoa. But as soon as she turned around to the normal way, she was surprised to see a whole bunch of horses running up towards her. What the hell? She yelled as she tried to head towards the side, but it was too late. The horses ran past her and she tried to jump, but she landed on top of a horse, still on her arms. She jumped on another horse, then another. Her arms hurt like hell, but she could not give up. Finally making it to the floor, she quickly speeded up towards the training grounds. After hitting herself with twigs and rocks hurting her hands, she finally made it. She looked around to see if Guy was around. He wasn't. She sighed and got on her feet, stretching her arms. Finally, Guy yelled as he was doing push-ups upside down on a branch. Sakura's eyes grew wide. When did you get here? Guy got off and landed in front of her. About 10 minutes. I'm impressed you didn't give up. But, now you must do 5,000 sit-ups. Not wanting to argue, she sat down and then on her back. Guy stood over her and smiled. Don't worry. You won't be alone. He should be here in about. Gah. Sakura looked up and gave a groan. Why is he here? Sakura covered her forehead. Naruto. Guy said, you have failed to beat me here. Now, 5,000 sit-ups. Naruto groaned. Guy Sensei. Isn't there any way I can change your mind? Guy crossed his arms and yelled, why are you complaining? That's not so very youthful of you. Now both of you, begin. Naruto looked up to see Sakura on the floor looking at him. He got up and said in a serious face, I can't. Sakura got up and said, yes, I can't either. Guy grabbed both Naruto and Sakura's hands and forced them to be together. No. You two will work together to beat me, then. Sakura let go of his grip and said, I'm sorry, but not today. Naruto did the same, but Guy said, if you do not, then it will be a shame. I always wanted to fight the best medical kunoichi and future Hokage one day. Sakura looked up and gave a small smile. I guess I could go for a round. Naruto looked at her and then back at Guy. Well, I can't. Guy's head began to panic. No, don't go. If you go, Kakashi and Asuma will be laughing evilly as I have lost this challenge. Sakura scoffed and crossed her arms. Fine by me. Guess you're too much of a chicken to face Guy Sensei. Naruto's ears twitched and turned to face her. Me. A chicken. As much as I want to prove her wrong, I cannot stay. He thought as he said, then, I guess I really am a chicken. Sakura glared at him while Guy shook his head. No Hokage puts down a challenge. Sorry, Guy Sensei. Maybe some other time. Naruto left them and Sakura crossed her arms. Why is he always trying to avoid me? Sometimes he acts normal, but then he wanted to stay as far away from me as possible. Guy sighed and said, guess he can't make up his mind. Asuma and Kakashi appeared before them, surprising Sakura. Asuma and Kakashi Sensei? She asked. Asuma laughed and pushed Guy's shoulder. You lost. Guy crossed his arms and said, I wasn't even trying. Kakashi looked at Sakura and said, hey, why don't we all go out and get some ice cream? She placed her hands on her hips and said, ice cream. But what about the fight with Guy? Kakashi placed his hand on her shoulder and said, we don't want him in the hospital. We know you could beat him up. Guy laughed. Perhaps another time, with Naruto. Sakura gave a small smile. Yay, but anyways, let's just go get ice cream. I've had a weird day thanks to someone's dogs. Asuma stopped them and said to Sakura, why don't I make it up to you? Here, take this. Sakura grabbed the slip of paper and gasped, this place. It's the most expensive, most fancy place in all of Konoha. Kakashi and Guy glared at Asuma. Yes, it is. Asuma smiled. Why don't you go there at 8 and eat? Dress nicely though. By myself, she said uncertain. Asuma gave her a pat in the back. Sure, I mean, who else is gonna afford this? Sakura hesitated. So, I just show them this and they will take care of everything. Trust me, it will be perfect. She placed the slip of paper away and nodded, alright. I guess I should. Let's just get our ice cream. Ino could get out of work much earlier than expected. She, without any other thought, went to see Lee and how Sakura was doing. I hope Guy-sensei could help Naruto and Sakura. Ino thought as she rushed to Lee's place. She had a smug grin on her face, imagining all the wonders Guy probably did. Guy would stand there literally forcing these two to make up or something. Now KISSSS. Shaking her head, he probably wouldn't really use force. Looking up, she finally made it to Lee's place and knocked on his door. After waiting for a while, Lee opened up and grinned as Sakura petals blew away from inside. Ino coughed as she waved the petals away, annoyed. So, you have some news. Lee let her in and to her surprise, his house was covered in petals. Sorry. Lee apologizes as he tried to pass the 3-foot pile of petals. Sitting down, Ino rolled her eyes. Anyways, what about the news? Did Guy-sensei really do it? Lee stood next to her and pondered a bit. Well, Kakashi and Guy-sensei failed. Kakashi. Ino yelled as she stood up quickly. Kakashi-sensei knows. Nodding, Lee went on, also Asuma-sensei. Don't worry, they have helped Guy a lot. Rubbing her temples together, Ino sat down again. Alright. So, are Naruto and Sakura together? Shifting awkwardly, Lee nervously said, not exactly. What? Ino yelled from the top of her lungs, not together yet. We have 3 grown-ups helping. Asuma-sensei still isn't done. Lee yelled as he covered his ears, he's going to make Sakura and Naruto go on this fancy restaurant together. She immediately cooled down. Ah, I see, when is it? Tonight. Ino got up again real quick. What? Is Sakura ready? Is Naruto ready? This has to be a perfect night. Without letting Lee continue on, Ino quickly rushed out the door while struggling to get through the piles of petals. Crossing his arms, Lee sighed, time to train. Ino rushed around Konoha to find Sakura. She looked in all shops and all training grounds, calling her name. Sakura. Sakura. Ino yelled out. But unknown to her, Sakura was walking with Kakashi, Guy, and Asuma, all eating chocolate ice cream. Thanks for the invitation, Sakura said to all of them while eating her ice cream. Sakura. Turning around, she saw Ino running towards her. Ino? Sakura asked as she stared at her friend running up to her. Finally making it to Sakura, Ino dramatically held onto Sakura's shoulder. Thank goodness I found you. What is it? Sakura asked, getting a bit scared. Kakashi and the rest also looked a bit worried, preparing themselves to hear some bad news. We must. Ino panted. Get. Sakura shook Ino's shoulders. Get what? Ino, can you hear me? Ino looked up and dragged Sakura's arm. We must get you ready. Ino. What? And without another word, Ino dragged Sakura all the way to Sakura's house. Pulling away from her grip, Sakura frowned. Ino, what is going on? You had us all scared to death. I'm sorry, Sakura. Ino apologized as Sakura opened her door. But, How do you know I'll go somewhere tonight? I was going to ask you to help, but later on, Sakura said as Ino rushed to her room. You have to be dressed up. Ooh, this is going to be so much fun. Ino exclaimed happily, rushing to her best friend's closet. But, why so dressed up, Ino? Sakura asked while seeing Ino pick out a dress for her in the closet. She leaned on her bed, watching her friend choose between 3 dresses. It's only a restaurant, and I'm going alone, so no big rush. Sakura said while stretching her arms a bit. Ino looked up and frowned. Sakura. Only the richest get there. And important people. I'm sure some would like to speak with you since you are the best medical kunoichi ever. But I'm going to be alone. Why should I go? There really is no point. Sakura sighed as she continued to watch her friend. Ino smirked and said, who knows, maybe you'll find a cute guy. And by cute guy, I mean Naruto. Ino thought. Sakura closed her eyes and laid on her bed. I don't want to do that anymore. Turns out I really can't simply replace him. She suddenly got up and said in despair, I've been bumping into him more often than before. Ino sat down next to her and slowly said, and? What do you feel? I feel as if he also wants to be with me again. I can see it. But then, he goes off being stupid saying he can't be near me. He's driving me insane. She covered her face and sighed, what should I do? Does he really hate me? Ino quickly went to place an arm around Sakura and shook her head, Sakura no. Don't think that. I'm sure he's just being stupid. He'll come back. Sakura shook her head, it's pretty clear. I just want to get over him. I can't keep hurting myself. I can't see him looking at me as if he wants to get rid of me. Damn it. Ino thought, you two seem like soulmates or something. They can't stop thinking of each other. Trying to change the subject, Sakura grabbed Ino's hand and said, please come with me. Smirking, Ino said, nope. Go on and have fun. Now, I think this dress is perfect. The dress was a simple one. Not too elegant or too casual. Just right and with a pretty color to it, dark red. After about 2 hours, Sakura was done with her makeup and hair. Sakura looked at the mirror and gasped. She touched her face and said, whoa. Is this really me? Ino was also a bit surprised. I must say, I did a pretty good damn job. I can hardly recognize you. Sakura slowly shook her head and smiled at her friend, it's only going to be me. But might as well. I feel so pretty. Crossing her arms, Ino spoke, Sakura, you're already pretty. You just got prettier. Alright, alright, let's get this over with. Sakura said as she waited for Ino to bring in the dress. Ino quickly ran to the closet and came out pulling the beautiful dark red dress. Matches your personality. Ino smiled. What? Sakura yelled, my personality is not dark red. More like, yay, yay, let's do this. Ino said as she excitedly handed over the dress. Naruto. Asuma called out to him. Naruto was sitting on a tree branch, looking at the dark sky. It was already a bit late and he just wanted to be alone now. Seeing Sakura today, being able to be near her again made him so happy, but at the same time angry with himself. Asuma looked up to see Naruto and saw that he seemed deep in thought and a bit sad. Yes, Asuma-sensei, he mumbled. Asuma got on the branch next to him and said, I see you're not that happy. Naruto sighed, it's nothing important. Asuma pulled out a cigarette and lit it up. After inhaling and then exhaling it, he said, you hungry? Hungry? Naruto asked confused as he watched him. Nodding, Asuma gave a pat to Natuto's shoulder, yay, hungry. You seem so down, why don't I give you this? He handed Naruto a small slip of paper. Naruto took the small slip of paper and read it. After a while he looked at Asuma with wide eyes, this place. It's the most expensive place ever. How did you even get this? Asuma laughed a bit, I have my ways. Anyways, just go and eat there. But dress nicely. Naruto looked at him confused, what? By myself? Nah. I never really liked fancy stuff. Asuma was beginning to get into panic mode. They have the best ramen ever. Naruto eyed him suspiciously. Really? Better than Ichiraku's? Quickly, Asuma nodded. Just give it a try. Naruto hesitated but then gave in. Fine. So I just give them this. Yes, they'll do everything. Oh, look, I have to go. Adios muchacho. Asuma said as he jumped off the branch, breaking some on the way of the fall. A loud thump could be heard as Naruto heard Asuma groan in pain. He soon disappeared, leaving Naruto confused. The hell did he just say? Should he go? Did he have the energy to go? Free food, Naruto. His thoughts told him, free food. I dunno, Naruto told himself. I just want to go home and sleep. Free food. Hesitating greatly, Naruto jumped off and landed on the floor. Fine. Free food it is. Ino grinned happily as she saw Sakura standing there in front of the mirror. You look like a princess. Ino squealed as she saw her best friend do a small swirl. Whoa. Haha. Sakura chuckled in surprise. I suddenly feel so much better. Wiping away a fake tear, Ino went on. Come on, let's get you there. Sakura nodded and grabbed her matching clutch. Okay, let's go. But inside, Sakura was so nervous. What if she somehow made a fool around herself? Or that some rich idiots would start to question the Hokage to her? Or insult her? Just don't punch stuff, she thought as she stepped out to see Ino waiting happily for her. Ino gave her a quick hug and said, I'll see you after you come back. I'll be staying at your house tonight and taking care of the house. But Ino gave herself a smirk. Not. Spying is my middle name, it's my specialty. Sort of, I just have to see this. Sakura took a deep breath and said, okay. I'll tell you how good the food is. She stuck out her tongue and then saw Ino laugh. You're going to invite me next time, got it? Ino laughed. Sure thing, bye. With that, Sakura disappeared with a teleportation jutsu to not mess her outfit on the way. Ino smirked to herself and untied her hair to tie it again tighter. Time for the show. With that, she activated to get in disguise. She transformed into a much older woman in a fancy dress and huge hat. Time to get Lee, Ino said as she teleported to his place. If she was going to spy on Sakura to see how it all worked out, she would have to be with someone else. She knocked on his door quickly and he opened it. Can I help you? Ino frowned. It's me. Ino. Quick. Transform into some older guy. Lee watched her suspiciously. Ino. Why? I know you also have a slip of paper. His eyes grew out in horror. What? When did you? A table for two. Come on, Lee, I saw it on the counter over there. Let's go. Now. Lee crossed his arms. What? No. I was saving it to take Sakura out later on. Not to be dressed up like some old person and with you. Ino slapped her forehead, so we can see how Sakura and Naruto go on their surprise date. He looked up and quickly transformed into an older guy, who seemed pretty attractive. Why didn't you say so before? With that, both disappeared to follow Sakura and Naruto. Sakura was just outside the restaurant. The whole place was covered with expensive decoration. Taking a deep breath, she walked in the front door. From the bushes, Asuma, Guy, and Kakashi all watched her enter the building. All right, Asuma said, everyone move near this area. And watch the wonder of a romantic dinner. Kakashi sighed and said, if this doesn't turn out good, I will laugh so hard. Ouch. Guy said as he shifted uncomfortably. Move it, rival. Ah, sorry. Quiet. Asuma hushed them. Look. Naruto is going in, too. They all had their eyes wide open as they saw him. He looked so mature in a suit. Where did he get that suit? And how did he get that new hairstyle? Asuma asked. Wait. Kakashi said, I saw Naruto walk with Jiraiya earlier. He must have helped him get all dressed up. Damn right I did. All turned around to see the Sannin looking over at Naruto proudly. Look at him go. Guy looked at Kakashi with a questionable look. Laughing nervously, Kakashi said, I might have told him about this plan. Jiraiya hid with them and said, okay, so when is Sakura going to be here? When she sees Naruto she'll be wanting him back. Asuma looked at him and said, actually, that's not how it went. Shrugging, Jiraiya went on, anyways, how do we see this? Asuma pointed up, over there, hopefully nothing stupid happens like Owlus. Sakura was seated on a balcony, by herself. Oh, Sakura said in despair, I'm so gonna look like a loner. She looked over and sighed, at least the view is nice, and tonight is nice, too. With a groan, she leaned her head on the expensive table and wrapped her arms around her head. Free expensive food, Sakura, her thoughts told her. As Sakura was in her thoughts, Ino and Lee both got a table, in the perfect view to spy on Sakura. She looks sad, Lee said, hiding his face with the menu the waiter had given to them. Shut up, Ino said as she was also hiding behind the large menus, look. She whispered to Lee and pointed towards the entrance to see Naruto coming in. Ino's eyes grew wide as she saw Naruto. Damn, he looks so hot. Lee elbowed her. Hey. That's Sakura's date. Ino quickly whispered to Lee, how the did you do that to him? Did you give him that makeover? And it wouldn't hurt to just look. The waiter had unfortunately heard a very old lady, Ino in disguise, say that there was a very hot guy. I don't get paid enough for this. The waiter thought as he took a deep breath and stepped towards them. Are you ready to order? The gentleman in front of Naruto quietly led Naruto towards the balcony. There was only one table that was decorated in beautiful candles and bright lights out on the rail. All this for food, Naruto thought as he looked around and fixed his collar. Damn it. This collar is too tight. Pervy Sage went too far with this. But as he was fixing it, his first button popped out and fell down the stairs. Whoops. In here, Mr. Uzumaki. The waiter said as he opened the door towards the balcony. As he went in he stopped to see someone was already there, with their head down, buried in their arms. He looked back to tell the waiter there must have been a mistake, when he noticed the person shift. Slowly, he walked closer to see the person's head lift up. Sakura opened her eyes and saw someone standing there. She blinked a few times and then realized. Naruto, she said as she stood up. Naruto watched her get up and couldn't stop staring at her. She just looked so beautiful in that dress. Sakura. Naruto said as he looked at her with a small blush, what are you doing here? But Sakura was too distracted to see how Naruto looked so mature in that suit. Oh my god, she thought as she forced to look away, I came here to eat. What about you? He shrugged, same here. Naruto knew that he shouldn't be here with her. But after seeing her, he remembered of so many things they did when they were together. And he missed that. If only tonight he could bring a bit of that back. What about Lee? Naruto asked, not looking at her as he remembered what happened days ago. It doesn't matter. She sighed. Sakura sat down and crossed her arms a bit. I guess you are about to say you have to leave, right? Slowly sitting down in front her he gave her a small smile. Actually I'm kind of hungry. She smiled a bit and said, yay. He continued to stare at her. He still couldn't believe on how pretty she was. He remembered when they were younger, how Sakura would hate herself on how she looked. Her eyes shone brightly as she looked out of the balcony. Turning her head, she spotted him looking at her and said, what? Damn it, Naruto thought, I can't stay away from her anymore. I should just tell her why I was avoiding her all this time. I've been so stupid, I just can't stand another day without her. You just look so pretty tonight. He blurted out without him thinking. She gave him a sad smile. I know what you are up to. And it won't work. Kakashi, Guy, Asuma, and Jiraiya watched in suspense to what would happen next. He sat down. Guy said happily, I think Asuma won. Asuma laughed a bit. Of course I would win. Look at them. Kakashi and Guy secretly admitted defeat and looked up to see Sakura standing up and pointing at Naruto angrily. Never mind. They both thought as Asuma watched in horror. Ino and Lee gasped to see Sakura pointing at Naruto angrily, telling him something. I can't hear, Ino said as she stuffed her mouth with food. Lee then pulled her and whispered to her ear and Ino nodded. You're right. With that, both Ino and Lee went to the kitchen and making sure no one was watching, transformed into waiters. Now, Ino said as she grabbed some menus, we can hear everything. Lee, you will be the violin guy. Lee's eyes grew wide, but I don't know how to play. Shut up, and let's go. Ino said as she pulled Lee towards Naruto and Sakura. As they reached closer, they could hear Sakura say, you think I'm going to fall for you again? Every time I see you, I get this pain in my chest, knowing that you never loved me in the first place. And now, you come here, telling me that I look pretty tonight. Ino and Lee looked at each other worriedly and knew they had to do something. Naruto stood up. Hold on, Sakura. You don't fully understand why I said that to you. The real reason was because. He was interrupted by Ino and Lee in disguise as waiters, who all barged right in. Right, Ino said, time for the menus. Sakura watched them and then at Naruto, looking a bit confused. Ino shoved the menus at Naruto and Sakura's hands. It was quite a lot actually, 8 menus on the table in total. Lee gulped as Ino grabbed the violin she had found and shoved it to Lee's arms, and this good sir will play the violin. Lee grabbed Ino's arm and whispered, wait. You can't just. But In grinned at Sakura and Naruto and said, ah. I will be right back. Quickly, she went towards the kitchen, but was interrupted by some rich person. Excuse me, he said to her. Ino stopped and said, what? The man gasped with the sudden rudeness of Ino and said, I was going to ask for water, but since you are so rude, I want to speak to the owner. I want him to fire you. Ino's eyes grew wide and said, wait. No, you don't want that. Yes, I do. Great. Ino thought annoyed, fat man here is being a pain in the ass. The man slammed his hand on the table and yelled, security. I want security. Bring in the manager. Fire this beast. Ino gasped and yelled, me. A beast. You son of a. Naruto and Sakura looked at each other and then at the menus scattered all over the table. Not taking any more of this, Sakura got up, I'm going home. I can't stand being near you. Lee's eyes shot up as he quickly played the violin, terribly. Sakura looked at him in horror and then grabbed her clutch. Sakura, please wait, Naruto said as he grabbed her hand. But she snatched her hand away, please don't touch me. Quote. Hearing her say that made him freeze. Did she now really stop loving him? He knew he was hurting her, but did that mean she stopped loving him? He didn't mean it, he never meant for it to be this painful. Suddenly Lee's terrible playing screeched out, hurting their ears. Sakura glared at him and said, hey, that's enough. Lee mentally thanked her as he turned his head and his eyes grew wide to see Ino yelling at a fat man inside with everyone around. He looked at Sakura and Naruto, who were still arguing, and then at Ino, who was now struggling against security. Let me go, Ino yelled. This was a setup. I was set up to this. The security then threw her out of the restaurant, and then the manager looked at her confused and said, she doesn't even work here. Meanwhile Lee couldn't think of what to do, but he knew that Asuma was here. He could sense his chakra and ran over to the balcony rails and waved his arm. Asuma looked up and then saw Ino in disguise yelling at the restaurant. Asuma said as he looked up to see Lee in disguise waving at him and pointing to Sakura and Naruto. Kakashi chuckled as Guy said, go clean up the mess. Frowning, Asuma jumped up to the balcony just in time to hear Naruto ask. Do you still love me, then? Sakura stopped and breathed in deeply. Of course she still did. She had been falling in love with him ever since they had gone out. But she couldn't tell him. What would be the point? He didn't love her anymore, he had proved it more than enough times. No, I don't, she said as he gave a single nod. Okay, he said as he walked away from her and out into the chaos in the rest of the restaurant. Asuma jumped next to Sakura and signaled Lee to go and find Ino. Lee nodded and went after Ino to help her along with Naruto. Sakura felt regret. She could have just told him the truth, but he would probably tell her to forget about her. Asuma walked up to Sakura and sighed, "Hey, you alright, kid?" She shook her head, "Not really, but it doesn't matter now. Thanks for the invitation, Asuma-sensei." Feeling very sorry for her, Asuma couldn't help but to hug this girl around the shoulder. "I'm sorry, Sakura." Asuma. That voice startled the two as Asuma gasped, "Kurenai." Kurenai crossed her arms. "So, this is what you meant by doing paperwork with the guys." Asuma gulped and quickly went up to her. "What? Oh, sweet pea, please listen. Don't get so mad or else the baby will be ill." Kurenai frowned. "You said that you'd be with me later tonight, that you had to do paperwork and that was why you couldn't be with me." Turning her head, she shook it sadly watching Sakura. "I'm so disappointed in you, too, Sakura." Sakura's eyes grew wide. "Wait. Kurenai-sensei. It's not what it seems." "Damn it," Asuma said. "If I tell Kurenai the real reason, Sakura will hear. Let's just talk this outside, love." Asuma desperately tried to pull her out, trying to avoid any embarrassment towards her. "No," Kurenai said as she stomped her foot. "You will explain it all here right now." Everyone in the restaurant watched in horror and disgust on this random scene of a soap opera. "Let everyone know you are somehow a cheater," Kurenai said. "I never knew you'd do this to me. You always treated me so great. What will our child think?" She dramatically fell to her knees and said, "Oh. And I thought you had some human in you. What will I tell our child? That you cheated on a pregnant woman. His mother." Suddenly she passed out and Asuma and Sakura ran up to her. Immediately using her chakra to look over at Kurenai and said, "Did she use some painkillers?" Asuma sighed and ran his fingers through his hair. "She must have taken the wrong ones. You see, there's these painkillers that make her seem so out of character, like a jealous soap opera person, no wonder." Sakura watched Asuma pick up her girlfriend and she said, "Asuma, take her to the hospital, she should be looked over with her special doctor, just in case for the baby." Asuma nodded. "Ah, yes, thank you, Sakura." With that, Sakura walked away towards her house while hugging herself. She couldn't stop thinking of him. She didn't want to be fooled again thinking that he would pretend to care for her that way. "I don't want to be hurt again," she whispered to herself. Naruto was sitting on top of his place. He then laid back and watched the stars, not bothering to change into normal sleeping clothes. "No, I don't love you." Her voice echoed at the back of his mind as he forced himself to accept this. He knew this day would come sooner or later. She was probably in love with Lee or something. Sitting up, he ran his fingers through his hair and looked at the bright moon. Should I really not tell her? He was going to tell her the truth, but when she answered him that she did not love him anymore, his mind went blank. The only thing he wanted to do was to get away. But the image of her and Lee getting all lovey and stuff made him sick. "I have to tell her," he mumbled to himself. "I just have to tell her the truth." Tsunade looked over the village from her office window. She shook her head slowly as she continued to hear Shizune. Apparently, none of them could make Sakura and Naruto come back together. Shizune said as she watched Tsunade turn around to face her. It had been a day since the incident of the restaurant. Tsunade sighed and sat down and looked over at Shizune. "Anyways, we must get ready for the Chunin exams. The Kage is coming along with his siblings, so we must prepare everything for their coming." Shizune nodded and excused herself from the office to make sure everything was in order. As she left the office, Ino barged in. "Please listen to me." Tsunade stood up and frowned. "Ino. What type of entrance is this? Bowing down, Ino said, I apologize, I just wish for you to listen to a request of mine. Placing her hands on her hips, Tsunade watched her carefully. Go on. Is this about Sakura and Naruto? Her eye grew wide. How did Tsunade know of this? You, no, Ino said to her in surprise. Nodding, Tsunade went on, of course I do. Now, what is your request? Quickly getting up, Ino said, please allow a dance party. Invite the whole village or something. Music heals the soul, right? Sitting down, Tsunade's sighed, you do know the cage will be here soon, right? Tomorrow, that is. After that, the Chunin exams will begin a week later. Everyone has to prepare for this. Getting on her knees, Ino went loudly, please. It would be relaxing before the exams, too. Will this make Sakura feel better? Tsunade asked. Yes, it will. I'll prepare everything to be ready in about 2 days. Tsunade frowned. 2 days. Isn't that too short? So, is that a yes? Ino asked, filled with hope. She remembered seeing Sakura so sad when she came back. Of course, Ino was angry with that fat man, but seeing Sakura like that made her sad. I don't want to get hurt again. Her voice said in Ino's mind. Sighing, Tsunade nodded, alright, I guess so. Get as many as you need to help. I'm allowing this because the Akatsuki have been on low activity lately. Even though we must not let our guard down, I guess it is alright to have a bit of fun. Also, to make Sakura feel better. Ino grinned and could almost hug Tsunade. Oh, thank you. Thank you. After excusing herself, she sprung out to find her friends to help. Shikamaru sat down next to Naruto as they sat on top a building, admiring the breeze. So, when are you going to tell her? Shikamaru asked him quietly. Naruto stayed looking at the view of the clouds and sighed. After a while he said, soon. I want to tell her so bad, but knowing that the Akatsuki would strike at any minute, makes me hesitate. Shikamaru looked at him with a bored expression and said, just do it already, nothing is going to happen. You don't know that. Naruto frowned at him. What if something happens to her? You know how those bastards can be. Suddenly, they heard a loud rumble and both stood up to see what it was. A building was being built and it looked like Yamato's work. Looks like Yamato is back from helping Anko, Sai, and Shino, Shikamaru said as he continued to watch. When did they come back? Naruto asked. Soon, answered Shikamaru and got off, with Naruto following him. They were curious and wanted to see why Yamato was building something out of nowhere. As they walked down the dirt road, Naruto went on, I guess I could say the truth once I see her again. Smiling, Shikamaru said, finally, so, if we bump into her right now, you will tell her. Yes. They continued to walk quietly, but Shikamaru spoke after some thought. What if she doesn't believe you? What if she really did stop loving you? Or that she hates you? He said, not meaning to sound too. Hearing these possibly options that might come up to him, scared Naruto a bit. He didn't want this to happen, but he couldn't keep her from the dark too long, either. He had to tell her anyway, if he saw her that is. Finally reaching the new building Yamato made, both of them walked in. Looking around, they heard a familiar voice. Yes, bring it over here. That looks perfect. Ino grinned as Yamato's sweat dropped. He had agreed to help Ino with her party thing. He's been carrying this huge vase and every time he placed it down, Ino would change her mind and want it somewhere else. Are you sure? Yamato asked. No, move it to the right, instead. Ino said as Naruto walked, being all loud. Ino, what are you doing? He said as he looked around at the large space. Turning around, she said, Naruto, I am having a dance party. You can come along, if you want. But please don't embarrass us with your stupid dances. Confused, Naruto said, dances. Shikamaru walked behind Naruto and said, whoa, nice place, can we help? Sakura could appear here, or maybe is here, the sooner Naruto gets this over with, the better. Shikamaru thought as he waited for Ino's response. Alright, Naruto, come help me with decoration, Shikamaru, go invite the whole village. His eyes grew wide, the whole village. Placing her hands on her hips she said, yes. The whole village. This is a village party. Sighing, Shikamaru said, give me the damn invitations. Quickly running to get a huge stack, Ino handed them to Shikamaru. Whoa, how? Yamato shrugged, paper is tree. I am literally a tree. Sakura was in her room listening to some music as she cleaned her house. Oh, that Ino left a mess. Sakura said as she cleaned the counters, really? Eating all this food and not cleaning it up. She looked up and sighed, the whole place was a huge mess. It's going to take all day to clean. Sakura said to herself as she continued to clean. Ino had come to her house all angry about being kicked out of a place. Not wanting Ino to see her crying or being all sad, Sakura listened to her friend yell on about some fat guy being rude. But once Ino had asked her about the night, Sakura gave her a fake smile. She told Ino that it went okay and that the food was great. I couldn't even eat any, only breadsticks. Sakura thought while placing the dishes away. There was a knock at her door and she went to lower the volume of the music and then straight to the door. Who is it? Is it Ino? She thought while opening the door. It was Tenten standing at the door, smiling at her. Hello, Sakura. She grinned at her. Sakura signaled her in and smiled. Hey, Tenten. How are you? Doing great. Tenten smiled brightly at Sakura as she entered the place. As Tenten sat down at her sofa and said, what happened here? Ino happened. She came in and all of a sudden wanted to eat the whole place and watch movies. Sakura laughed a bit and sat down next to Tenten. Sorry, I was cleaning. Shaking her head, Tenten said, nah, it's alright. Anyways, I need a favor to ask you. Since Ino is busy, I thought you might be willing to help. Curiosity was filling Sakura. What did Tenten need? Is Ino working in the hospital? Sakura asked. Oh, I thought you knew, Tenten went on, she is having some dance party. Everyone is coming. Sakura's eyes grew wide in confusion. Party? Does she not know that there really isn't any time to party? There is a huge threat hanging over our heads as we speak. The Akatsuki. Oh, what is she thinking? Shifting a bit, Tenten slowly went on. Oh, well, so you won't come. Me. No. Someone has to be at full alert at least. Tenten gave a sad look. Ah. Please come. It'll be so much fun. You have to come. A party. And everyone is coming. How could Tsunade allow this? This was insane. If the Akatsuki attacked now, then they'd all be dead. After thinking of it more, Sakura continued to shake her head. No, I can't. But when is it? 2 more days. Tenten answered. What? Sakura practically yelled. 2 days to do this? That's not enough time. Tenten grabbed Sakura's shoulder and shook them. I knew www. That's why I need you to help me pick out a dress. Sakura looked up and sighed. Alright, I guess so. But you have to promise me you'll be at full alert just in case anything happens. Giving a smirk, Tenten said, Sakura, I'm a kunoichi. I know this. Don't worry, it'll be fun and you should definitely come. Standing up, Sakura smiled. Nah, I think I'll pass. First of all, the village. Second of all, I just don't really feel like going. I just want to stay and I dunno. I just don't wanna go, really. A disappointing look appeared on Tenten's face. Alright, I won't force you, but it won't be as fun. Looking around, Sakura said, Yay, I'll help you as soon as I finish my work here. I'll help you, Sakura. Tenten smiled. It's the least I could do. Naruto. No, move it over there, Ino said to Naruto. Yamato and Ino watched as Naruto attempted to move some tables. Over here, Naruto asked. No, move it a little to the left. That's what he did. No, a little to the right. More, Wait. Yay, right there. Ino grinned as Naruto watched her with an annoyed look. Yamato sighed as he wiped some sweat off of his forehead and continued, is there any more need of my assistance? Ino looked at him and thought for a second, ah. Yes, could you go and get the DJ supplies? Lee has everything. DDJ? Yamato asked. Lee. Naruto walked in looking at her suspiciously. When did you have everything ready? You said that you got permission today. Laughing nervously, Ino went on, listen, I just know how to get things quick, now, Naruto. I want you to finish making sure this place is clean and I'll go check on Shikamaru. Before Naruto could groan in laziness, Ino ran off with Yamato following later. Looking around, Naruto saw that this place really needed to get cleaned. Chuckling to himself in a suspicious way, he did a hand signal, who says I exactly have to do it. Walking around, Ino finally spotted Shikamaru. Are you done? Ino asked as Shikamaru walked up to her. Listen, Ino, he said, I have to help with the preparations of the Cage and his siblings, so, find someone else. Ino grabbed his arm and said, fine, but come help me find someone. Groaning, Shikamaru followed her walk around to see if they could find any similar people. Passing by the Uchiha grounds, they spotted Sasuke and Itachi. Ino's eyes lit up as she ran to greet them, hello. Turning around, Itachi gave a nod, hello. Is there a problem? They were next to these tricycles and helmets. Ino thought it was probably one of those kids' things. Yes, are you busy? Itachi placed his hands in his pocket and said, we were going somewhere. That's perfect. Ino said, could you please hand these out? Shikamaru here has to help the Hokage, it's a dance party and everyone is invited. Sasuke got a piece of paper and observed the paper, sounds like fun. But he handed back the paper and said, sorry we can't do that right now. Sasuke then grabbed his helmet and leaned against his tricycle. Wait, Ino began, are those your tricycles? Why do you both tricycles? Itachi sighed as he clipped on his helmet. Sasuke's motorcycle broke down. Our father is fixing it for us now. And we wanted to take a ride. Shikamaru looked worried and confused, aren't you an Anbu captain? Isn't your father a very busy man like you? Why are you taking so many breaks? As the brothers got on their tricycles and shades, Sasuke mumbled, because, shut up. Without another word, they both paddled away into the dirt road as the chorus of, Ridin' Dirty, by Chamillionaire started to play in the background. They see me rollin', they hatin', patrolling they tryin' to catch me ridin' dirty. 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 Both of them rode their tricycles looking all serious while an old lady with her dog awkwardly walked past them. She looked uncomfortable as the dog was eyeing the Uchihas suspiciously. She tried to cross the street, so Itachi got off and helped her. My music so loud, I'm swanjin', they hoppin' that they gon' catch me ridin' dirty. Tryin' to 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 catch me ridin' dirty. That was a waste of time. Ino sighed while pulling her hair and watching them continue on. Shikamaru and Ino walked on and on until they finally spotted Ten and Sakura. They were looking through shops for what appeared, for dresses. Ino ran up to them with Shikamaru following behind, him being annoyed of having to be dragged around. Sakura looked at the footsteps and saw Ino. She immediately placed her hands on her hips and said, Ino, you have left a mess at my house. And second of all, a party. This village can't afford. Yay. Okay, forehead. Ino said quickly, dismissing her and turning to Ten, ignoring Sakura's eyes rolling. Ten, could you please pass these out while you are shopping with Sakura? Ino asked quickly. Shika dummy here has to do something. Shikamaru sighed, I have to help. Ino ignored him and went on, please. Smiling, Ten accepted, of course, Ino. A wave of relief fell over Ino as she handed the remaining papers to Tenten. Ah, thank you. But then her attention was to the pink kunoichi. Ah, Sakura. You have to come. After last night, I know this will make you feel better. Sakura crossed her arms and said, Ino, no, I can't and I won't. There has to be at least one shinobi with a good mind in case the Akatsuki attack. Ino rolled her eyes. Don't worry, there won't be alcohol. At least not directly there. Quickly shaking her head, Ino grabbed Sakura's hands and said, please come. Even if it's for a little while. For only 30 minutes at least. Sakura ran her fingers through her hair and said, I don't know. Shikamaru heard this and thought, if she doesn't come, Naruto can't tell her the truth. Clearing his throat, Shikamaru went on, I also think you should come. Everyone will be there, and if you are on your own and somehow bump into the Akatsuki, then do you stand a chance? No, I guess you're right. But still, parties don't really interest me. Tenten grabbed Sakura's shoulder and said, ah, come on, Sakura. Only for a while, please. Sighing once again, Sakura turned around, I'll think about it. Ino waved them goodbye, giving them smiles. But as soon as they were gone, she grabbed Shikamaru's arm and whispered loudly, is there something going on? Are you trying to do something about this plan without me? Shikamaru leaned his head back, actually, yes. Let's just say that Naruto needs to talk to Sakura, and that it all depends on Sakura then. Ino's eyes grew wide and was delighted. What happened? What is he going to tell her? I'll tell you afterwards, just make sure she goes to the party. With that, he left towards the Hokage. Ino stood there grinning as she made her way back to where Naruto and Yamato were at. Sakura looked at some of the dresses they were selling and saw how pretty they were. Once she turned the price tag, her eyes grew wide, and never mind. Tenten looked through the racks and pulled out a bright-colored dress. Ooh, how does this one look like? Sakura looked at it and shrugged. Ino is the fashion expert, but I think it looks pretty. How much is it? Turning to see the price, Tenten gulped and slowly placed it back. On second thought, this dress is sort of ugly. Suddenly they heard a male voice saying something and it sounded familiar. That dress fits you nicely. Hold on, what's that in your hand? It's me. Sakura and Tenten looked at each other and walked over to the changing room and their eyes grew wide. Kiba, Sakura and Tenten said together. He turned around and blushed. Ah. Hey, you guys. What are you all doing here? Tenten placed her hands on her hips and leaned forwards with a sly grin. I see you are shopping for dresses. For you or for the person behind the dressing room? Sakura grinned. Ah, I didn't know you had a girlfriend. Kiba blushed and leaned against the changing room. What are you talking about? Me. Suddenly the door opened and Kiba fell backwards. Ah. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kiba. A voice said from the inside. Sakura and Tenten both slowly walked over and their eyes grew wide. Hinata, they said as she looked at them with a nervous smile. Sakura blinked. Why you two are going out? Kiba got up and crossed his arms. Yay. So what? His attitude suddenly changed into a desperate one. Please don't tell Neji. He'll be some freak or something about it. Hey, Tenten said frowning. I'm sure he's a bit obsessed, but he's okay with this, I'm sure. Hinata stood there with a blush on her face. It's just that he can be annoying. Sakura and Tenten gasped. Hinata called someone annoying. And her cousin. If Neji heard this, he would be heartbroken. Sakura smiled. Don't worry, we won't tell, but, how long have you two been going out? Kiba grinned and said, about 3 months now. We've been a bit on low, since Hinata is scared to what her family might say. You know them, always so strict. Tenten nodded. Yes, especially since Hinata will take over someday. But looking at Hinata's dress, Sakura smiled. Ah, that dress looks cute. Are you two shopping for the party thing Ino has? Hinata nodded. Yes, it will be so much fun. Are you two going? I am, Ten said as she grinned, with Neji, of course. But this loser here says she doesn't know. Sakura sighed and crossed her arms. Look, I'm just concerned that's all. Besides, I'll think about coming. Hinata smiled nervously and said, I think you should come. It will be so much fun with you around. Sakura shrugged. I dunno, but who knows. Anyways, you almost done shopping? Smiling, Hinata answered, no, not really. Kiba's eyes grew wide as he said, hey, why don't we all go together? That way, Hinata and I can go around with more comfort. Hinata nodded in agreement and said, that sound great. Will you join us? The two kunoichi agreed and all four decided to go shopping together. Hello, Naruto, Ino said as she made it back. The real Naruto was dancing to some song loudly as his clones did all the cleaning. Yamato was actually doing work unlike Naruto, who was also singing along the loud music. Ino frowned and walked up to the music and unplugged it angrily. Hey, Naruto frowned, that was my song. Ino placed her hands on her hips and said, Naruto, may I have a word with you? Naruto moved his hands around. Look, if it's 'cause I was being lazy and let all the clones do the work, I'm sorry, okay? But she grabbed his arm and pulled him to the side. Not that. It's about Sakura. Hearing her name made his heart race and he held his breath for a second before slowly going, yay. What about her? Ino grinned. Shikamaru told me you were going to tell her something. What is it? I must know. Naruto began to walk back. Don't worry about it, Ino. But, just to ask, he turned around and whispered to her, is she going out with Lee? Smiling she said, no. Why? Are you jealous by any chance? A small blush appeared on his face. Let's just say that it didn't feel right. Anyways, I'll be going on now to finish this cleaning. Ino felt like doing backflips. His plan was really working and she felt like she could fight anyone. That's good. Ino said happily. That's very good. Kakashi, Guy, and Asuma were all walking together through the village, when they saw Ten run up to them. Guy-sensei, Ten said as she approached the three. Ah, Ten. Guy grinned widely. What seems to be up? Giving them a piece of paper, Ten smiled. Ino is having a dance party. Will you all come? Just then Sakura, along with Kiba, Akamaru and Hinata walked behind Ten. Crossing his arms, Kiba grinned, these guys. They can't dance. Guy got in a random pose and said, can't dance. Me. The most handsome youthful person on earth. Just watch this. And to everyone's horror, he made some weird moves and then spun around quickly in the air, soon landing smoothly with a huge grin. Well. Ten had a bored expression. Don't embarrass yourself, sensei. I'll make you proud, Ten. Guy grinned widely. Sakura laughed at him and then turned to see Asuma standing there smoking his cigarette. Ah, Asuma-sensei, is Kurenai-sensei alright? She asked him, remembering what happened last night. Yes, she is fine. So is the baby. But she is resting now, so everything is good. Will she be able to be at the party? Hinata asked, concerned even though all three just found out about the party. Asuma scratched the back of his head and said, yes. Kurenai does like these types of stuff sometimes. I'll ask her when I get home. That's good, Hinata smiled. The group excused themselves to their teachers and moved on. As soon as they had gone, Guy said, did you see that? Sakura seems okay. Maybe this whole thing wasn't such a mess. Or maybe, Kakashi said, she's faking it. Asuma placed his hands up and started, alright. Now here is the super ultimate plan. The more they are together, the more the chances are they will speak to each other more, right? So, why not make them go on a mission together? Kakashi shook his head. No, before Sakura and Naruto would switch to get out if they were ever together. So, this wouldn't work so well. Guy walked forward. Let's just tell the Hokage about this. I'm sure she will agree since one day Sakura and Naruto will be forced to work together since she is a medical kunoichi. Asuma nodded. Besides, will be a good idea to be on the lookout for the Akatsuki. We need to also focus on them. Kakashi nodded in agreement. I guess you are right. Without another word, they all went to talk to Tsunade about the plan. As soon as they got there, Tsunade was already expecting them. Good timing, Tsunade said as they entered the office. Anko has gotten a possible location as to where the Akatsuki could be at. I want you three to go check it out. Bring Sakura and Naruto with you. Naruto, Shizune asked as she was standing next to Tsunade, but wouldn't that be dangerous? They are looking for him. Tsunade sighed. When he hears about this, there won't be no way of bringing him out of not going. He will want to go. Kakashi, Guy, and Asuma were all cheering loudly in their minds, throwing confetti and dancing terribly to music. What did you want me for? Tsunade asked them. Ah, nothing. Guy grinned. Nothing at all. When do we begin? As soon as Anko's team gets back. It was already getting dark outside. Sakura had said her goodbyes to Hinata, Tenten, Akamaru, and Kiba. She had bought a dress. Only because it was cute. Sakura said as she held the bag tightly. Ah, I'm so hungry. Sakura said as she was walking in the bright streets with a couple of stray dogs walking around. Maybe I should get something to get while I head home, Sakura said as she looked around for any shop that had some good food. But at the end of the street, Naruto was also heading home. After a long day helping Ino, he and Yamato were tired. And by tired, they meant annoyed with Ino's constant voice telling them to move it to the left, or a bit to the right. Naruto was walking with his arms resting behind his head, walking humming a song. He looked to his right to see a stray cat chasing something that ran under the garbage pile that was behind a store. Hey, dumb cat, he said as he continued to walk. But as soon as he looked up he saw Sakura walking the opposite way towards him. He gulped as he slowly let his arms down. You have to tell her. He whispered to himself as he went up to her. Sakura, he called out towards her. She looked up and her eyes grew wide. What does he want? She thought as she pretended not to have heard him. She made a turn, but suddenly felt his presence next to her as he grabbed her hand tightly. Wait, he said in a low serious voice. She froze and didn't dare to move. Slowly, she spoke, what do you want? Sakura stared right in his eyes and took steady breaths. He slowly let go of her and took a step back, allowing her some space. Naruto then cleared his throat and began, I have something to tell you, Sakura. She stayed silent as she watched him carefully, silence filling them up. But after a while, Naruto spoke. The thing is, shut up, Sakura said as she turned around. I don't want to hear about anything anymore. Shaking his head, Naruto went on, you don't understand, the whole thing was a lie. That thing made Sakura snap. She didn't understand what he meant, but she thought that his love for her was a lie is what he was telling her right now. I said I don't want to hear it. Sakura yelled turning to him, all you've ever done to me is lie. You've lied to me all this time and I was stupid enough to believe. He frowned and swung his arm in the air, no, that's not it. You've got it all wrong. That's not what you told me months ago. She glared at him, not wanting to hear him anymore, and I don't have any time to play your stupid games anymore, Naruto, just leave me alone. Running his hand through his hair, he walked up in front of her, blocking her way, Sakura, please. Move out the way. She pushed past him walking angrily away, and don't follow me. Naruto showed nothing but determination as he continued to call and follow her, Sakura please stop. This is very important. Give me chance, here. She stopped and turned around crossing her arms, fine. You have 3 seconds to tell me something pathetic. He grinned widely as he placed his hands on her shoulders gently, I've. But suddenly there was a loud voice being calling Naruto's name loudly. Curious, Both turned their heads to see three figures walking towards them. Squinting a bit, Naruto then grinned. Gaara. Sakura watched the Sand siblings walk up to them. She then worried what they might think seeing both her and Naruto like this. Quickly, she went to greet them. I thought you would all come in tomorrow, but it's nice seeing you all. Temari grinned widely as she went to hug Sakura. Hey, it's nice to see you. Ever since Sakura had saved Kankuro from the poisoning, Temari had been very grateful to her ever since. She'd been much kinder to her, too. Sakura hugged back and grinned. It's nice to see you, too, Temari. Gaara gave a nod at her and looked at Naruto and gave a small smile. Good seeing you, Naruto. Naruto grinned widely and scratched the back of his head. Ha. It's also great seeing you, too. It's been a while. Kankuro gave Sakura and Naruto a sly smile and said, were we interrupting something? Sakura blushed a bit and shook her head. No, not at all. I was just leaving when Naruto here wanted to give me something. Showing her bag from earlier, she smiled. Ha. You see. Oh, I really need to get going. Naruto. Turning her head to give him a fake smile, she went on. Why don't you bring them to the Hokage? Before Naruto could protest, Sakura continued, I really have something important to finish, so I can't go with you all. Temari smiled. Sure, you'll help us with the Chunin exams, right? Sakura shrugged. Hopefully, I've been given some tasks to do, so I'm not so sure. The Sand Kunoichi grinned. Alright, take care, I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Sure thing, goodbye. With that, she quickly walked away, not wanting for Naruto to follow. Naruto watched her leave and clenched his fists, not having the opportunity to tell her. But it was soon let go as he turned and led the Sand siblings to the Hokage's office. After making sure Naruto wasn't following her, Sakura ran. She ran through the dark streets and towards her house. What did he want to tell me? She thought as she ran up the stairs of the empty streets, probably some other lie. As she made it to her house, she felt her chest squeeze inside of her. Looking up to the bright moon, she sadly said, what was it? Making her way inside, she quietly closed the door behind her and then slid down, wrapping her arms around her legs. What if it was something that he still loved me? She thought, but then shook her head. No, even if it were true, I wouldn't believe it anymore. But her mind was going crazy thinking if that really was the answer. Her heart beat fast just thinking that was it. She wanted to believe that was it, but even if it was, she just didn't want to be used again, wasting his time. Leaning her head back against the door, she sighed. She lifted the hand he had grabbed and smiled a bit. His rough hands were touching mine again. Quickly shaking her head, Sakura frowned. No. Don't think that. Placing her hand on the side of her face, she sighed again. What am I going to do? Tsunade's eyes grew wide as she watched Gaara, Temari and Kankuro walk into her office. So soon, Tsunade said as she stood up to greet them. Sorry for coming early, Temari said. Gaara wanted to get here fast to have enough time to prepare. Naruto wrapped his arm around Gaara's neck and grinned widely. Gaara can stay over at my place. It'll be like some sleepover or something. Sleep over, Gaara thought as he looked at Naruto. I wonder how those things work. Tsunade shook her head. Absolutely not. The cage cannot stay at your place. We already have everything ready for the three of you to stay at. Naruto pouted and whined. Tsunade ba-chan. Please. Kankuro laughed. Gaara's never really had a sleepover, Naruto. Naruto let go of Gaara and said, that's why. We'll watch movies, eat ramen, have some games. Games? Gaara asked. Like what type of games? Shrugging, Naruto went on. I dunno, anything you want. Temari placed her hands on her hips and said, don't you think you're a bit too old for this sleepover thing? Ignoring her, Gaara looked at Tsunade and said, I think it's best if we stay at Naruto's house. Her eyes grew wide. What? Naruto, do you even have the place clean? Or at least something extra for them to sleep in? After thinking for a while, Naruto said, actually, I do, only an extra bed that is. Tamari can sleep on the couch while Kankuro can sleep on the floor. Sorry, Kanuro, I don't have any extra sheets. Tamari and Kankuro watched him in confusion. Was he being serious right now? In reality, he wasn't. Naruto was too worried about Sakura, that was why every stupid thing came out of his mouth. He just wanted to run up after her to tell her the truth. Grabbing her brother's shoulder, Tamari went on, listen, Gaara, you can go stay over with Naruto, Kankuro and I will stay over here. Gaara gave a nod, alright. Without another word, Naruto grabbed Gaara's stuff and ran out, let's go. Sakura couldn't sleep that night. She laid in her bed looking at the ceiling of her room. I can't sleep. Sakura almost yelled angrily as she stood up and headed to her living room. Looking over, she saw her bookshelf and angrily pulled out a book. Maybe this will help me keep my mind off. Hey, wait a minute, I never finished this book. But just as she was going to read the book, her door was being rung loudly. You've got to be kidding me, Sakura mumbled as she went to open it to find Ino standing there, looking exhausted. Ino, you are going to the dance party thing. Ino yelled as she pushed past her and flopped to her couch. Ino, what happened? Sakura asked as she went over to check on her friend. She looked so tired, not even makeup could cover that. I've been working all day, making this party thing, for you, Ino panted, and you don't wanna come. Sakura rolled her eyes and headed to the kitchen to get her a glass of water. Ah, Ino. You know I suck at dancing, and I just don't really feel like going. Wait. Suddenly realizing, Sakura ran up to Ino, you are doing the party for me. I thought it was for the whole village. Groaning and painfully laughing, Ino got up, yes, it's for everyone, but I came up with the idea just for you. When I remembered that you were like meh, I came over here as quickly as I could. Now, you are coming either you like it or not. If what Shikamaru says is true, Ino thought, I have to convince Sakura to come to the party. Sakura sighed, you didn't have to do that. Sakura, I just want you to have fun, be happy, I dunno something. Leaning back on the couch, Sakura sighed, I'm alright, I don't know, I just don't feel like going, it's something that wouldn't really make me happy right now, you know. Then what will? What do you want me to do, Sakura? How can I make you go to that party? Ino asked, feeling hopeless. Giving a sly grin, Sakura sat up and said, let's just watch that horror movie you chickened out the other day. You have to watch it with no breaks or nothing. Ino's eyes grew wide, that movie. Why? You know I'm scared of those things badly. See, I suck at dancing but you still want me to come to that party. Pouting a bit, Ino took a deep breath, fine. But only if I can stay over and you come to the party. Deal. Sakura nodded, okay, if you chicken out, I won't come and you have to buy me something. Deal. Mumbling with annoyance, Ino shook on it, fine. Things I just gotta do for my friends. Clapping her hands excitedly, Sakura went to turn on the TV, fine, you can hold on to something while it's playing, Ino. Ino scoffed, excuse me. I can do this alone, thank you. I just can't wait to see you dancing on the dance floor. Alright, whatever, it's starting. Hold on, go to the bathroom first, I don't want my couch all wet because you were too scared. Standing up, Ino stomped to the bathroom, ah, ha. We have jokes now, do we? Sakura laughed and yelled, ew. Gross. Don't talk and pee at the same time, that's so nasty. Shut up. Gaara walked next to Naruto in the quiet streets of Konoha. Is it going to be like in the books and movies? Gaara thought about his sleepover, are we going to stay up all night? Paint our nails. Does Naruto even do that? As Gaara was wondering how his first sleepover would be like, Naruto was thinking deeply of Sakura. Should he make up an excuse just to go find her? No, I can't do that. Look how excited Gaara is. Naruto looked over at his friend who was looking a bit excited, but tried to hide it. Naruto looked at his feet and finally decided to leave it for tomorrow. I'll see her tomorrow, I'll go find her first thing in the morning. Naruto. Gaara began as Naruto turned his head quickly. What's up, Gaara? Gaara's eyes looked over at Naruto and slowly said, You're acting different, it's like you are worried of something or thinking of something. Is there anything wrong? Quickly, Naruto waved it off. Nah, it's nothing too important. Anyways, let's hurry and go inside, I've got this super cool movie we can see together. Just as Naruto was talking with Gaara, he noticed that they passed Sakura's place. But he had reminded himself that he would tell her later. As soon as they made it to Naruto's place, Gaara looked at the place and saw how dirty it was. I put your stuff here, Gaara. Let's just eat something real quick. Naruto said as he went to the kitchen and got out some ramen cups. Gaara placed his stuff down and sat on the couch. So, what else do you do in sleepovers? Only eat and watch stuff. Naruto scratched the back of his head. Well, to be honest, I've never really been to an actual sleepover. The only time was when I had to sleep over at Sasuke's place, but he was too busy training at night, but his older brother, Itachi, he showed me some movies. Gaara leaned back a bit and said, I've never been at some sleepover before. Naruto's eyes grew wide. Ah, I see. Without another word, Naruto went to his speakers and looked back at Gaara. Let's put some music. But as soon as Naruto pressed play, 4/5 direction played loudly through the speakers. Quickly turning it off, Naruto nervously laughed. Haha, sorry about that. To his surprise, Gaara stood up and turned it back on. Naruto, this is my favorite song. We should just hang out with Naruto and Gaara. Temari said as she looked at her brother, Kankuro. Sure. I mean they are probably doing something stupid, like I dunno, playing some game. Temari crossed her arms. How is that lame? You don't do shit. I mean, do you even have friends? Kankuro frowned. Hey, don't go that way, Temari. Let's just go for a bit, I'm tired. They both left and walked on outside to hear some loud music being played. Looking at each other with confusion, they went on towards Naruto's house. But as they got closer to his house, the music got louder. Is that? Kankuro asked while looking at Temari. Oh my god. Temari kicked open the door to see that Naruto, Gaara, and some other random people were all dancing in sync to the music. Best song ever. Naruto and Gaara sang to the finale. Temari and Kankuro watched in horror with wide eyes. They could not move or believe that Gaara would be dancing to this type of music. Looking up, Gaara gasped and quickly stood up and returned to his serious face. Kankuro then busted out laughing and walked up to Gaara and slapped his back hard. Gaara. Ha. I can't believe I just saw this shit. Gaara's face went all red as he crossed his arms. Hey, I told you, didn't I? And what are you doing here? Temari frowned and kicked Kankuro. Hey, shut up. If he wants to dance to that type of music, let him. As the three were all arguing about the situation, Naruto went to prepare some ramen for them all. When he came back, the three were all sitting comfortably in the couch, still arguing. All I'm saying is, Kankuro began, is why do I have to always be the last one to pick the movies? And why does Temari get to use the bathroom first? Gaara sighed, we aren't talking about that. Kankuro. Temari frowned, fine, you pick the movie. But I still get first bathroom privileges. Naruto watched them argue over these things and thought, I'm so glad I don't have siblings. The next morning, Gaara left early to go and help organize with the Chunin exams. Waking up to the sunlight, Naruto looked around and saw a mess. Last night, Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro decided to watch movies and eat all his food. After they had left, Gaara and Naruto stayed up late to talk and play a board game Naruto had in his room. It was weird though because it only had numbers, the alphabet, a yes and a no, and some triangle thing. Why did it move by itself? Naruto wondered as he saw the board. All the lights went out after we used it. It was so funny how worried Gaara was, saying there were spirits and stuff. He stretched his arms out and yawned. Spirits, I can't even pronounce the name of the game, anyways, it was boring. Nothing fun happened. As he went to his kitchen, he saw all of the chairs piled up on top of each other with his ramen cup at the top. Groaning loudly, Naruto began to put everything back. So, Gaara has some jokes now, does he? But how did he do this? Shrugging it off, he went to eat his food. He chewed slowly, until he realized. I have to speak to Sakura. Without another word, he ran to his room and changed real quick. But right when he was about to leave, his whole place was sparkling clean. Whoa, I never realized how fast I cleaned, Naruto shrugged as he zoomed out of the door. You idiot stupid boy, the Kyuubi said to Naruto, you have summoned ghosts or spirits into your house. That's it, if I could I'd switch bodies right now with some priest or something. Spirits? Naruto wondered, nah, that's just Gaara playing around. Anyways, I need to find Sakura. Sakura woke up in her living room with Ino snuggling against a giant pillow. She laughed a bit remembering how Ino actually went through. She hadn't moved from her spot since then. Standing up to stretch a bit, Sakura yawned, that was some movie. As Sakura was in the kitchen grabbing something to eat, Ino suddenly woke up gasping. Looking up, Sakura worriedly said, hey, you alright? Blinking and running her fingers through her hair, Ino slowly nodded, yay, no thanks to you. Stupid scary ass movie, ooh, I can still see the thing in my mind. Sakura laughed, what, you wanna use the bathroom? Ha ha, shut up, I'll be right back. Washing a cup, Sakura said out loud, if you're lucky. Sakura, Ino yelled as she zoomed into the bathroom quickly to get out soon. Shit, now I'm alone. Sakura thought as she pulled out some milk from the fridge. In less than a minute, Ino was in the kitchen, changing subjects, we are going shopping today for your outfit. Sakura had forgotten about the other part of the deal. She slowly nodded, but then said, but wait, then who is going to take care of the party for today? Isn't it tomorrow the party? Smiling, Ino went to grab a bowl from Sakura's cabinet, it's all taken care of. I'll just stop by and supervise. So, who's coming? Sakura asked, not feeling it today to go shopping. Everyone, even the Uchihas. That'll be kinda weird, though, like can they dance like really cool moves? Ino asked as she stared at her bowl. Sakura watched her with a confused, hey, are you okay? Looking up immediately, Ino said, oh, yay, I'm just a bit tired, and spooked, but nothing much. Drinking up her glass of milk, Sakura walked towards her room and then placed down the glass on her table. I'll go change, you can borrow something of mine if you want. Ino looked at her outfit and frowned at herself while following Sakura. Yay, I'll borrow something, I kinda smell. Naruto looked everywhere for her. He walked up everywhere for her. He wandered around, ignoring people's weird stares. Where is she? Naruto asked as he went towards the hospital to see if anyone has seen her at all. As he reached the hospital, he went around asking for her. But as he went asking, many did not know where she was and said she was on some break from the hospital. Sighing with defeat, Naruto decided to go and see if she was anywhere else near. Maybe she's with Ino, he thought as he walked past the academy. Naruto. A voice yelled at him, making Naruto turn around, huh? Right behind him was Konohamaru grinning widely. Naruto. What are you doing here? Sweet dropping a bit, Naruto said, aren't you supposed to be at school? If Iruka-sensei finds out, you will be in big trouble. Chucking a bit, Konohamaru went on, Naruto, today is a day off. Everyone is getting ready for the big party that Ino Ninja Girl is doing. What? It's that important? Naruto said with wide eyes. How? Suddenly the school bell rang loudly, making Konohamaru jump and grab onto Naruto's arm. Let's just go. They both ran fast and far enough to be away from the academy. What was that about? Naruto asked suspiciously. Are you skipping or something? What? No, it's just that I'm taking a break, for now. Naruto tapped his foot. Really? Why are you doing this? It's not good for you if you want to become the Hokage one day. Quickly trying to change the subject, Konohamaru went on. By the way, what were you doing here? I was looking for Sakura, Naruto said simply. Have you seen her by any chance? If I somehow distract him, Konohamaru thought, he won't tell Iruka-sensei and I won't get in trouble. Oh, yay, I saw her. He said all enthusiastic. I'll show you, Naruto. Naruto's eyes grew wide. You have. Then what are you waiting for? Let's go. I think I saw her near the shopping area. It's a busy street, so we might miss her, but let's go. Konohamaru led the way and Naruto followed behind, a little bit nervous. He was going to tell her finally what the real reason of his stupidity was. He couldn't take this lie anymore and wanted to be with her again, that is, if she forgave him. So he mentally started to prepare himself to what he would say to her. Konohamaru turned his head and looked at him a bit scared. Naruto. What are you doing? Practicing, he mumbled as they got closer to the shops. Sakura and Ino walked down the streets to look at shoes at the display windows or any other thing. I'm hoping to get these shoes that I saw the other day, Ino went on, and to see them now, I'm not so sure, but I so want to get them. Sakura nodded. How do they look like? What store did you see them in? Ino glanced across the streets and her eyes grew wide. Naruto. Ino thought as she saw him looking around for something, but it was so crowded that he didn't notice them. Hey! Ino grabbed Sakura's arm. Huh? What? Sakura asked a bit annoyed at her sudden grab. Isn't that nah? Ino began but as soon as she turned her head, he was gone. What the? He was here a second ago. Sakura stopped walking and looked around. Who? Did that punk really just disappear in thin air? Or was it the stupid movie that is making me hallucinate? Ino thought as she ran her fingers through her hair. Never mind, Sakura, I must have imagined seeing someone. Alright. Sakura began as she went on forward. You know, now I really want to get something done with my hair. Where did he go? Ino thought as she tried to see if she could sense him, but she couldn't. She then saw Sakura's hand waving in front of Ino's face. Hello. Ino. Are you okay? Giving a fake smile. Ino shrugged. Whoops. Sorry. I must have been thinking of something. Anyways, let's go. Konohamaru. She isn't here, Naruto said, all disappointed that there were lots of people all over the place. I think she might be somewhere in those stores. Konohamaru said quickly as he pulled his hand into the nearest shop. After a while of searching, Naruto got frustrated. She isn't here, I should ask Tsunade Ba-chan or something. If he tells the Hokage, then she'll find out I wasn't at school, telling Iruka-sensei, getting me in trouble. Without another thought, Konohamaru quickly said, let's get something to eat first. I'm so hungry. Hesitating a bit, Naruto finally agreed. Okay, what do you want to get? Ino and Sakura decided to go get some yogurt at this cafe. As Sakura was talking with Ino while sitting on a table, Ino looked past Sakura and almost choked on her yogurt. Ino. Sakura got up and patted Ino's back as Ino struggled to point past Sakura. What? Sakura looked back to see no one familiar or threat. As Ino finally got her breath back, she gasped, I saw him again. Where is he? I swear I saw Naruto with that annoying kid. I saw him and somehow they disappeared again. Ino thought as she got up to the area. Scanning through the place, Naruto and Konohamaru was nowhere to be found. Ino, are you alright? Who are you looking for? Sakura asked while also looking for the person Ino saw. Never mind, Ino said slowly as she got back to her table with Sakura following her. What if I'm just imagining it? Ino thought. I can't let Sakura know that I'm randomly hallucinating stuff. Meanwhile, with Naruto, he was annoyed that Konohamaru was whining that he didn't want yogurt, that he wanted candy. Fine. We left the shop. Naruto sighed as he followed Konohamaru to another shop. I really wanted some yogurt, Konohamaru. And the one where they put those chocolate stuff on it. And they have candy on them, too. That thing sucks, Naruto. I've been saving up money to get this type of candy, a whole package. As they were walking by, Naruto saw Shikamaru and ran up to him. Neji. Have you seen Sakura? Thinking for a bit, Neji shook his head. No, I haven't. Have you checked the hospital or the Hokage? Naruto shook his head. No, I haven't with the Hokage, but I will now. Hey, take care of Konohamaru, alright. With that he disappeared in thin air, leaving Neji hanging about refusing such offer. Konohamaru crossed his arms and shrugged. Let's go get some of that candy. Neji looked at him and eyed him suspiciously. Aren't you supposed to be at the academy? Before Konohamaru could deny anything, they both heard Ino yelling loudly. I swear I just saw him here. Neji. Neji. Ino yelled as she ran up to him as Sakura followed. Ino. Calm down. Neji and Konohamaru stopped a bit terrified at her sudden outburst. Ino. What's? Neji asked, but was interrupted by Ino. Tell me Naruto was here. Tell me he was here with you this second. Sakura scoffed. Is that who you've been seeing this whole time? Naruto. Ino grabbed onto Neji's shoulders and shook them. Was he here? Konohamaru moved away slowly next to Sakura and whispered to her. Hey, that lady is so crazy. Ino's head turned sharply with her eyes filled with redness. Shut up, kid. Sighing, Neji took Ino's arms away from his shoulders. Look, yes, Naruto was here. He was. So, I'm not going crazy. Ino asked all happily. What type of ninja are you? Neji asked. And aren't you like some specialist with minds? Giving a big sigh, Ino said, look, I've been in enough genjutsu and stuff, but ever since I saw that stupid movie, I've been acting weird. Sakura crossed her arms. Tell me about it. So, you saw Naruto all along. Where is he? In reality, she really didn't want to see him at this moment. He would probably want to tell her something stupid. Sakura didn't want to hear any excuses or anything, but at the same time she kind of wanted to hear what he had to say. But as she thought more about it, she saw how Ino was always talking about Naruto or anything related to him. She's been wanting to know more about me and Naruto more, but mostly Naruto. She's always randomly bumping into him. Does Ino? Sakura thought at it. What if Ino really did like Naruto? She'd have to accept it. I don't want anything with him anyways, Sakura thought. Besides, I have to move on. Konohamaru quickly said. He went to the Hokage. Ino grinned. Ah, that's good. Let's go, Sakura. Not wanting to go, Sakura shook her head. No, I don't want to go, and weren't we shopping, Ino? What? That can wait. Let's go, Sakura. Ino said as she pulled her friend. Come on. But Sakura snatched away. Maybe another time. Why don't you do instead, Ino? You seem to be pretty obsessed with him lately. Ino gasped a bit. Me? No, I just want to say hi. Neji and Konohamaru saw the awkward atmosphere that was suddenly created and slowly tiptoed away. That was so close. Konohamaru said to Neji, we were about to get involved in some lame girl drama. Neji sighed. Yay, you're right. And I'm not forgetting that you are supposed to be at the academy. Konohamaru's eyes grew wide. What? Man, come on, let's have a deal, okay? Look at this right here, $5. But Neji didn't budge. Let's go back to Iruka-sensei. No, please, no. Sakura tried to smile. It's okay, Ino. I mean, he isn't my boyfriend or anything. I don't care if you two go out. Ino just stood there dumbfounded. I mean, Sakura went on, it's not like I care about him that way anymore. Quit lying, Sakura, she thought as she looked at Ino. Finally getting to herself, Ino blinked and said, there's been some Wait, Ino thought suddenly, so now, Sakura doesn't want anything with Naruto. What if I tell Naruto to pretend to go out with me? Be my dance date? Yay, Sakura will get so jealous, and then Sakura will be like, oh no, lol I still love you. And Naruto will be like, lol me too. Yes, perfect. Sakura looked at Ino awkwardly, you just spaced out there. Shaking her head, Ino quickly said, yes. Sakura, if you don't want to see Naruto, I will. I suppose the secret can't be kept anymore. Sakura's eyes grew wide, what secret? Pretending to be deep in love, Ino twirled around Sakura, that I, Ino, am madly in love with Naruto. Oh, I didn't want to tell you, but now that you aren't bothered by it, I might have a chance. Sakura gave a sad smile. Yay, you go for it, Ino, I'll just go and finish shopping. You should take him as your date for tomorrow. Ino stopped in front of Sakura, you mean it? You aren't bothered? Shaking her head, Sakura said, no, of course not. Pretending to be overjoyed, Ino jumped in the air and squealed, oh. Yes, I'm so happy. Finally my undying love will be heard. Maybe this time he'll really fall in love. Bye Sakura. I'll come to tell you the news soon. Ino skipped towards the Hokage's office as Sakura watched her all happily go away. What have I done? Sakura thought with pure sadness in her face. After seeing that Sakura wasn't watching, Ino stopped skipping and stopped to look around. Some people looked at her scared and backed away slowly from the crazy woman. Look, it was all for a good cause. Ino yelled, trying to explain at the now running people. Slapping her forehead, Ino turned around and headed towards her destination. I just hope this works. Ino thought as she continued to walk to find Naruto. I haven't seen her, Naruto. Tsunade said as she was filling out some papers, she's having her break, why do you need her? Naruto leaned his head back and then forth, I need to speak with her, it's very important. Unknown to Naruto, Tsunade smirked, I'm so gonna win this bet with Shizune. The bet was in less than 2 weeks, Naruto would come back for Sakura, she bet the other way, Shizune better get that dough ready that she's gonna owe me. Very important, Tsunade asked as she stood up, I see now, personal. Naruto slowly nodded, yay, sort of. Do you know where else she could be? I've been searching all morning for her. Try searching the hospital, if you find her, drag her here because I told her not to work. But I know she could punch you hard if you do try to drag her, so don't for your safety. But I've been at the hospital, Naruto groaned as he sat down on the seat and ran his fingers through his hair. She may be training with Kakashi or something, I don't know what she does or whatever. She might also be with Ino. Go find Ino, she might tell you where she is. Tsunade said as she searched for an extra pen that was working. Lazily, Naruto stood up, alright, I'll go, see ya. With that, he sped out the door, accidentally knocking down the piles of paper. Naruto. Tsunade yelled as Naruto's eyes shrunk and ran faster out. Shizune ran in her office gasping, what's the matter? Mumbling angrily, Tsunade got out some sake and drank the whole bottle, that brat. He doesn't pick up what he dropped. And those are important papers. Sweat dropping, Shizune slowly walked over to the fallen pile and picked it up. And he's the future Hokage. Tsunade yelled as she soon took another gulp. Naruto finally stopped outside and gasped for air, I need to work out even more. He turned towards the training fields to see if she would be there or maybe bump into Ino. But just as he was about to go, he heard his name call and saw Ino sunning towards him waving. He quickly looked around her if Sakura was there, but she was not to his disappointment. Slowly walking up to her, he gave her a sad smile. Hey Ino. Without another second, Ino grabbed Naruto's arm and whispered, there needs to be a talk between us. Frowning with confusion, he asked, huh? What are you talking about? And have you seen Sakura? Ino shook her head. No, I mean yes, but wait. I hear you want to tell Sakura something. He quickly nodded as Ino wrapped her arm around his shoulder and they both walked forward as Naruto looked at her with more confusion. Listen, Naruto, I need your help. Be my date for the upcoming party. She said as she looked at his reaction. Naruto stopped walking and stared at her. Ino. I'm sorry, but I don't have feelings for you. Ino immediately wanted to slap herself. No, Naruto, I know, but Quick. Think. He can't find out that you know that he knows that, you know that, he knows that, shit. I confused myself. Anyways, think of something so he won't know that you know of, anyways. Oh, Naruto, I need your help, Ino said all dramatically while falling to her knees. Ino, what is it? Look, I'm sorry, but I can't date you, he asked as he tried to help her up. I need you to be my date for the party. I need to make. Ino looked around quickly to think of anything up. She hadn't thought this far and was making it up as she went. But out of the corner of her eye, she saw a man selling potato chips. Without thinking it, Ino yelled, I need you to help me make Choji jealous. Naruto's eyes grew wide, you like Choji. Immediately, Ino went to cover his mouth, shut up. We don't want the whole world to know, yet. Getting out of her grip, Naruto spoke, what do you mean get him jealous? What? Is he going out with someone else or something? Does he not like you or something? Why did I say Choji? Ino thought as she quickly spoke, he's seeing other girls. So many. He's a playboy. Naruto gasped and looked at the floor, how did he do that? Suddenly some guys who overheard ran up to Ino, what? My boy, Choi getting some poo. Ino frowned, hey, who are you all exactly? No, don't worry about us. Just tell us where he get them chicks. We need their numbers. Naruto scratched his head, he bought chickens. Not wanting to hear any more stupidity, Ino grabbed Naruto's hand, we don't know. He just does. Let's go Naruto. After losing them, Ino sighed, anyways, so will you help me, Naruto? But Naruto was deep in thinking, what does poo mean? Did they mean pudding? Choji really loves pudding. Ino wanted to scream of annoyance right there, no. No, Naruto, just forget about that. So will you help me? Naruto shrugged, look, I don't think I can. I have to tell Sakura something really important but she doesn't want to listen, right? Ino said, look, I can help you. You do this for me, Sakura gets a bit jealous, Choji get jealous, and they will be begging to come to us. So everyone wins. Ta-da. After hesitating, Naruto nodded, fine, I'll be your date. But only because you say it'll work. Ino grinned widely, finally. Sakura will be jealous and be like, Naruto I love you. And Naruto will be like, OMG BBY girl I love you too. Perfect. Without holding back and being way too excited she jumped into his arms and hugged him tightly as Naruto tumbled back, hey. But unknown to them, Sakura watched from afar and turned around quickly. Why did I follow Ino? I knew this would happen. Sakura said to herself as she walked away making sure they didn't notice them. She wanted to see if Ino was just joking around or being serious. Now it was confirmed to Sakura that Ino was actually interested in Naruto. Sakura walked towards the park and sat down. She took in a deep breath and slowly let it out. Running her fingers through her hair she looked up at the clouds, well, time to do something. What if they get married? Sakura immediately shook her head, why am I thinking so far? Anyways, I have to find a stupid dress. Getting up she took another deep breath and let it out slowly again, I can do this. Sakura yelled with fist pump. The people around her got creeped out and quickly kept their distance. One father that was walking with his son quickly said, "Son, if you ever get sick, I'm sorry but you are going to die because we are not going to see that doctor over there." Sakura's mouth grew wide open with what the man said. I should just think happy thoughts, Sakura. Not wanting to get into any trouble, Sakura walked forward towards the shops to see if she could find anything. Into the shops, Sakura found Ten looking for more dresses. Ten, I thought you already had a dress, Sakura said as she walked up to her. Sighing, Ten said, "No, I have not. Oh, what will I do? The party is tomorrow night and I have nothing." Sakura gave her a small grin. Same here, well, we will both look like shit then. That's a bit comforting. The door of the shop opened and they both saw Ino there with wide eyes and ran towards them. Sakura. Ten. Guess what? Ino said all happily. Naruto agreed to take me on a date. We will be the most fabulous at the party. Ino then squealed happily while jumping a little. Sakura nervously chuckled. Ah. Ha. I see, congrats, Ino. But Ten watched Ino with wide eyes. Is she crazy? Ino was the one that set up plans to get Sakura and Naruto together. Not separate them and have Naruto all to herself. No wonder they never worked. I'm so sorry, Sakura. Ino. Ten said as she crossed her arms. What exactly do you mean you are dating Naruto? You know what? I was wasting my time. Not letting her finish, Ino quickly covered Ten's mouth and nervously laughed at Sakura. Please excuse us, Sakura. They both got out the store and Ino whispered, it's part of the plan. We aren't actually dating. Ten crossed her arms, it doesn't look like it. You seem too happy. Look, trust me, he has something very important to tell her. I told him I wanted to make Choji jealous and he fell for it. Sakura doesn't want to talk to him and this is the only way she will even pay attention to him. I mean, look at her. They both looked through the window to see Sakura looking at some dresses. You see, Ino whispered loudly, that color dress she was looking at does not match her at all. So, she must be going all jealous in her thoughts. She can't think fashion right now. Lifting her hands in defeat, Ten nodded, all right. I'm sorry, but are you sure this will work? I know it will, Ino said smiling. I just hope Choji doesn't get the wrong idea. Ten chuckled, but why Choji? It would be more believable with some other guy that you are obviously into. Ino sighed. Look, I just saw some guy selling potato chips and immediately thought of Choji, but anyways, let's go. Also, don't forget to tell the others, they will freak out like you at the party and we do not want any, problems. Ten nodded as they made their way towards Sakura. Okay, I'll tell them later. Tell them what? Sakura asked. That, to not forget to be there early for the party. Ten said nervously. Sakura looked at her with a confused and concerned face. That's it. Trying to change the subject, Ten went towards a rack and quickly scanned through them. Ino. Thanks to you, I won't be able to find the perfect dress. In such short notice. This isn't FC King Prom, Ten. Ino said as she crossed her arms. I've never been to a prom. This is going to be a long shopping day, Sakura thought as she watched them two argue about what prom was. Gaara and his siblings were done with organizing the Chunin exams for the day. They were heading out to find their friends when they saw the whole village busier than usual. What's going on? Tamari said as she placed her hands on her hips. A party, that's what. A voice said behind them, causing them to turn around. Tamari grinned. Shikamaru. It's been a while now, has it? Shikamaru gave a nod. Yay, it has. I'm sorry I couldn't greet you all, I was busy helping the Hokage with some work. Kankuro nodded. Yay, but what party are you talking about? The party that the whole village is going to, the one that Ino made to make everyone a bit relaxed. It's been a bit tense because of the unknowns of the Akatsuki. Shikamaru explained. Hey, Shikamaru thought. I know the real reason and you don't. That sounds like fun. Kankuro said with a grin. When is it? Tomorrow night. What? All three said in wide eyes. Gaara shook his head. What was she thinking? The Chunin exams will begin soon after. Shikamaru shrugged. Yep. That's what's going on. So, are you all coming or what? Tamari thought for a moment. Yay, I'll go. But I'll need to find a dress. Hey, Gaara, lend me some cash. Kankuro frowned. Tamari, where's that 50 at? Her eyes grew wide. Look, I'll pay up soon, but I need Gaara to lend me something now. But Kankuro didn't seem convinced. Hell no, I'm the one that needs the money from Gaara, I'm broke as hell. Hey, Gaara lend me the money not her, she won't pay you, trust me. Tamari gasped and frowned. Kankuro, shut up. Gaara, don't listen to this puppet boy. Look, I'm your sister, you love me, right? Kankuro pushed Tamari out of the way. No, you love me more, right Gaara? Gaara looked straight at Kankuro's eyes. Just for calling me that, you aren't going to get anything. What? Kankuro yelled as Tamari laughed evilly in the background. Neither are you, Tamari, Gaara said as he crossed his arms. What? Tamari yelled as Kankuro laughed this time evilly in the background. Shikamaru sighed. I'll lend you both some, but just don't argue like that in the party. Kankuro chuckled as he wrapped his arm around Shikamaru. Listen, if you ever want to hook up with my lame-ass sister, then I'll help you, okay? Tamari frowned and kicked her brother's knee. Shut it. Shikamaru sighed. Alright, enough. Let's go. Gaara, aren't you coming? Gaara nodded. Better than going to find Naruto, we accidentally summoned spirits to his house. I'm not going there again. Tamari sighed. That again. Did you use the Ouija board? His eyes grew wide. How do you know? I think it's a very clean spirit because it kept cleaning when I was there. It got some Febreze and started to spray it everywhere. Shikamaru stood there with a creeped out face. The FCK were you two doing? Finally, after a whole day and a half, the whole village was getting ready for the party. Only a couple of hours left for it to begin and Ino was freaking out at Sakura's place. What if everything goes wrong? I just want people to be a bit relaxed, you know, Sakura. Ino said as she was putting on some makeup. Sakura was putting on her dress. Don't worry, Ino, everything will be okay. Stopping, Ino turned around and saw Sakura with a straight face. Hey, what's wrong? Ino asked as she got up and stood next to her. Huh, oh, no, there's nothing wrong with me. Sakura said as she made sure her dress was on perfectly. But Ino knew exactly why she was all down and stuff. Playfully, Ino elbowed Sakura's arm. Hey, is it because I'm going out with Naruto now? That made Sakura tense up. No, that's not it. Ino grinned. Are you sure? I can always break it up if you want. She looked at her and took a deep breath. No, that's okay. You know, there's nothing going on with us, so it's totally okay. Just to warn you, he lies a lot. I don't want you hurt. Oh, Sakura, Ino thought as she slowly turned around. Before the night ends, Sakura would be happy again, according to Ino that is. As time passed by, none said a word to each other. Sakura wore a short red dress as Ino wore a short baby blue one. We look so beautiful, Ino said as she twirled Sakura around. All the guys will be all over you, I'm positive. Sakura gave a small smile. Yay, maybe. You look so pretty, Ino. Is my makeup alright? I don't want it to be all messed up. Ino asked as she looked at Sakura so she could see. After a while, Sakura nodded. No, it's alright. It looks good. What about me? Oh, Sakura, your makeup is always on point. Ino grinned as she got her clutch and waited for Sakura at the door. Quickly, Sakura went towards Ino's side. Let's go. Locking the door, both females soon started to walk in the dark. Ino, why was this party thing of yours at 11 at night? Sakura said as she frowned a bit as the two walked down. Hey, who wants kids at this party? Ino said as she looked around. Sakura crossed her arms, yay, for the whole village, except the kids, meaning half the village. Yo, it's the older people that work for the safety of this village, those babies over there. What are they doing? Getting a job, helping the economy. No, so why do they deserve to have a party? Sakura shook her head. Oh my god, Ino. I'm just saying. They continued to walk until they saw a figure leaning against a building with the street light on him. Naruto, Sakura thought as she felt her heart racing fast. No, Sakura, don't do this now, don't. Naruto turned his head and gave a small wave. Hey. Sakura noticed that both Naruto and Ino were matching and she felt pure jealousy, but quickly dug it in deep. Ino quickly ran up to him. Oh. Sweet num-nums. You waited just like I said before. Num-nums. Both Naruto and Sakura thought at the same time, trying not to laugh. He gave a small grin and looked up to see Sakura. He hadn't been able to see her for a while, but seeing her again made his heart race. He couldn't stop staring at her on how beautiful she was. I'm going to tell you, Sakura. He thought as he was about to go towards her, but was stopped by Ino. Not yet, Ino whispered. It's gotta be super romantic. Ino thought happily, not some lame under the street light crap. Ignoring Ino's telling, Naruto still went on. Sakura. I'm so sorry, you guys. Sakura said as she gave them a fake smile. Ten wanted me to go a bit early to help her with something. I'll see you all later. With that she pushed past Naruto and when they were out of sight, she ran. Naruto stared at her and didn't say anything. Frowning, he turned to Ino. You said she would listen to me. Ino crossed her arms. I told you, didn't I? I told you not now. Naruto sighed. Fine, by the way, where's Lee? Isn't he her date or something? Ino scoffed. What? No. Why do you ask? His eyes grew wide. So, they aren't actually dating. Shaking her head, Ino said, no, they aren't. They never were. Relief washed all over Naruto as he grinned widely. Really? Okay. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go and make this work. He grabbed Ino's arm and they both ran towards the party. But they had to stop and walk because running in heels was a pain in the ass and was slowing both of them down. As they made it to the party, Naruto saw Sakura with Ten and Neji. The whole place was covered in balloons and other decorations, especially vases. Ino, why are there mostly vases? Naruto asked. Hey, they were on sale. Ino protested, and they look kinda cool. Please explain. Naruto said as he watched the music start getting loud and a random DJ guy dancing off beat to the music. Money can be exchanged for goods and services. Ino sighed as she looked around for Sakura and soon spotted her. Naruto frowned as he saw Choji near the food area eating lots of grilled food. Hey, Ino. You said Choji was seeing other girls, the only thing that is around him is food. Ino chuckled nervously. Did I say girls? I meant grills, you know, all he thinks is about food. He looked at her suspiciously. Really? Well, he's all alone now. Go after him. Sakura looked up and saw Naruto with Ino and quickly turned her head to pay attention to Tenten's story more. Ino tried everything to make Sakura look over at her and Naruto dancing to songs. But Sakura wouldn't dare to move to look at them. Even the others tried. Look, is that guy checking you out? Lee said over-exaggerated. Sakura didn't budge. Meh, it doesn't matter. Anyways. Naruto frowned. Ino, this isn't working. Ino sighed. You're right, let's go talk to them. As the party was going on and everyone dancing, Asuma was staring around with Kakashi, Guy, and Kurenai. All of them were talking while watching everyone else dance. As Asuma was ready to take out another cigarette, the next song that came on made him freeze. The song, Mine, by Taylor Swift started to play in the background. Oh, oh. Asuma gulped while nervously lighting up his cigarette. He watched everyone dancing to the song. His song. You were in college working part-time waiting tables. Left a small town, never looked back. I was a flight risk with a fear of fallen. Wondering why we bother with love if it never lasts. Oh, man. Kakashi sighed. Country isn't really my type of music. Asuma's forehead veins popped out angrily, but kept a calm looking face. Why, Kakashi? Maya, I dunno. Are you okay, Asuma? Kakashi asked his friend. You don't seem so good. Guy said a bit worried. But Asuma was trying his hardest not to take over the dance floor with his sick moves. Not today, Asuma thought desperately. I say, can you believe it? As we're lying on the couch. The moment I can see it. Yes, I can see it now. On the other side of the room, Ino tried to convince Sakura to come dance with her. Come on, Sakura. Ino tried to drag her up. Let's dance. This song reminds me too much of him. Sakura frowned while wanting to escape. Ino, I can't be here anymore. But you just got here. Ino said as she crossed her arms. Naruto looked at her. Hey, why don't we both dance? Sakura didn't look at him. No, I'm alright. Do you remember? We were sitting there by the water. You put your arm around me for the first time. You made a rebel of a careless man's careful daughter. You are the best thing that's ever been mine. Asuma tapped his foot to the beat while smoking really fast. Kurenai placed her hand on his shoulder and asked, Asuma, you're smoking that too fast, is everything alright? Flash forward and we're taking on the world together. And there's a drawer of my things at your place. You learn my secrets and you figure out why I'm guarded. You say we'll never make my parents' mistakes. You can control yourself, Asuma. He thought to himself while giving a smile to his girlfriend. Yay. I'm totally fine. But we got bills to pay. We got nothing figured out. When it was hard to take. Yes, this is what I thought about. Asuma turned his head to see this kid doing the worm terribly on the floor, totally offbeat. Seeing that kid do that was the last straw for Asuma. That's it, Asuma yelled as he pushed his way to the middle of the dance floor. This is how you dance, kids, to the best song ever. Do you remember? We were sitting there by the water. You put your arm around me for the first time. You made a rebel of a careless man's careful daughter. You are the best thing that's ever been mine. He started to dance and sing with the song, smoothly, while many people gasped at this. Other watched in awe on how this ninja loved Taylor Swift. Do you remember all the city lights on the water? You saw me start to believe for the first time. You made a rebel of a careless man's careful daughter. You are the best thing that's ever been mine. Oh my god. Ino said with eyes wide open, Asuma-sensei is a Swiftie. Sakura immediately got up to see him killing the dance floor with his sick moves and voice. What the? Sakura yelled as Naruto turned to look with wide eyes, Asuma. And I remember that fight. 2:30 a.m. As everything was slipping right out of our hands. I ran out crying and you followed me out into the street. Braced myself for the goodbye. 'Cause that's all I've ever known. Then you took me by surprise. You said, I'll never leave you alone. Asuma grabbed Kurenai's hand and sang to her along with Taylor's voice. You said, I remember how we felt sitting by the water. And every time I look at you, it's like the first time. I fell in love with a careless man's careful daughter. She is the best thing that's ever been mine. Kurenai smiled and said, Asuma. What the hell? Asuma returned dancing with other random ninja dancing behind him in perfect sync. Hold on, make it last. Hold on, never turn back. You made a rebel of a careless man's careful daughter. You are the best thing that's ever been mine. Soon, Kakashi and Guy joined him dancing side by side, all three passionately signing to the song. Hold on, do you believe it? Hold on, we're gonna make it now. Hold on, and I can see it. Yes, I can see it now, see it now, see it now. Fireworks exploded in the background for the big finale, almost blowing up the building. Asuma, Kakashi, and Guy all looked at each other with huge eyes. They all pointed to each other and said at the same time, "You're a Swiftie." Ino crossed her arms. "Okay, who put on Ninja Tay Swift?" "Right, I hired Yamato as the DJ." Naruto's eyes grew wide. "Oh, so was he the one that was totally offbeat when we entered?" Sakura sighed. "I gotta go use the bathroom." Naruto looked at Ino trying to see if Ino agreed if he could follow her to tell her. Ino shrugged. "Nothing worked, so go ahead." "What about Choji?" he asked. She turned to see Choji, Shikamaru and Lee having an eating contest. "Don't worry about it," she said. "That food cost me a lot of missions." Naruto nodded and went after Sakura, pushing past the dancing people. Soon, he saw Sakura stopping to look into her clutch for something when Naruto stepped right in front of her. "Sakura." She looked up and sighed, trying to push past him. "Leave me alone, Naruto." But he grabbed her arm gently. "No, I still haven't told you what I wanted to tell you from before, so, I'm going to say it. But I'd like to go somewhere more quiet," he said as some dance music blasted in the background. Sakura hesitated and said, "Look, there's nothing left to talk about, you've got Ino and doing this is just terrible. So, just leave me alone, please. I've been through enough, okay?" She pulled herself away from him and ran towards the bathroom, not allowing him to speak. He frowned and crossed his arms. "You can't stay in the bathroom forever, Sakura. I'm going to tell you once you get out." Oh man, that totally sounded creepy. But inside the bathroom, Sakura's heart was racing. She went towards the mirror and looked at herself. Slowly she touched her chest where her heart was and felt it bump fast. What if it's something important? Sakura asked herself. What if him telling me to stay away from him and Ino? Asshole, I know my place, but what if it's something else? Gaara stood there watching his siblings enjoy themselves. Where is the real music? Gaara asked himself as he went to talk to the DJ. Meanwhile, Kankuro was flirting with a bunch of girls at the same time, but they were mostly using him to get the number of the cage. Poor guy. "So, your brother is the cage?" One girl squealed. "That's like, so rad. Hey, can he like really do that sand thing and kill people?" Another asked. Kankuro chuckled. "No shit, sweetie." The girl gasped angrily and kicked him where the sun doesn't shine and said, "Come on girls. We're wasting our time with him. Let's go to the main dish." Everyone followed her and left Kankuro with full confusion. All I said was no shit. They can't take sarcasm. Gaara went up to Yamato and said, "Hey do you have?" Tamari interrupted him. "Gaara, they don't have birthday, or my physical romance." Yamato shrugged. "Actually, we do. Do you want to put in a request?" Gaara shrugged. "Yes, please, anything but the theme song of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, that has been playing for the last 15 minutes. A random guy in the dance floor yelled out, "Hey, I like that show." Soon the music was changed to a totally different type of music, actual dance music. As the time went by and Naruto waited for Sakura to get out, he started to get a bit worried. She wouldn't come out. Too bad I'm a boy, or I'd go and check on her. Maybe, he thought as he looked around and ran outside to transform into a girl to check on Sakura. But just then, Sakura peeked out the door and saw that no one was there, and no Naruto. Without another thought, she quickly walked away towards somewhere where none of her friends were. She pushed past dancing people and frowned at the sweaty smell that they had acquired. Gross, she mumbled to herself as she found an empty table and sat down. But as soon as she sat down, her favorite song came on. She smiled to herself and said, "Well, I did come to have some fun, right?" Looking around, she finally went on and started to slowly dance her way in. She laughed with some others that seemed to also like this song, too. Altogether, they all danced, making Sakura forget about Naruto for just this minute. But meanwhile, with Naruto, he looked around making sure no one saw or else they'd think he was some pervert. Making his hand sign, he transformed into a female. Aha. I'm so adorbs. Hi, my name is Tulip. Very original. A voice said from behind him. Gasping, Naruto turned around. Sasuke. What are you doing here? Naruto. Sasuke asked. Why are you dressed like that? I didn't know. Itachi soon appeared. Naruto, we clearly saw you transform. You are under arrest for being a pervert. Hey, wait, Naruto said quickly. Look, it was all for a good cause. Yay, for your eyes. Sasuke said as he approached Naruto. Transform back. Naruto sighed. Fine, I was just wanting to check on someone, and since I'm a male, I couldn't enter the bathroom, so that's why I transformed. Itachi squinted his eyes. That is the creepiest excuse ever. To the Uchiha place. Police. Thing. Sasuke sighed. Itachi, let me do this, you're too drunk. And you only took 1 cup. Actually Sasuke, I can perform my job perfectly. We aren't even on duty. Sasuke protested. You said we'd have fun and not worry about this job. Naruto slowly slipped away and ran back inside trying to look for Sakura. Now look what has happened, Sasuke. Itachi sighed. Naruto has left. Sasuke sighed and crossed his arms. Giving a small smile, Itachi said, okay, I guess we didn't see him, besides I think he was telling the truth and it's, to be honest, too much paperwork. Sasuke grinned widely. Really? Man, this is going to be a fun night. But they spoke too soon. A wave of fangirls boys all shrieked and chased after the Uchiha brothers. No. Run. Sasuke. Itachi yelled as they both headed to the mountains. Sakura's favorite song had ended and the next song that played was a slow couplet song. Everyone around her got with their couple and started to dance. She slowly started to leave, not wanting to be the only one there. As she pushed past, couples randomly started to make out, others were confessing their undying love, and others were crying because they didn't have a partner in crime. Sakura sighed with annoyance and continued to push past and finally reached her friend's table. They were all gone except for Choji and Ino. Sakura. Ino grinned. Where's Naruto? Oh, I honestly don't know, sorry. Sakura said as she sat down. Ino grinned. Hey, why don't you start to dance with Naruto? Quote. Sakura looked at her. Isn't he your date? Dance with him. Choji kept eating his chips as their friends returned and song ending and turning into another romantic song, but it was a bit more of a disco type of music. Everyone left again to dance after a drink. Ino looked around and saw Naruto. An idea randomly popped into her mind as she pulled Choji. Sakura. Choji and I will dance now. Please take care of our seats. Sakura shrugged. Sure. Ino grabbed Choji and whispered to him a plan she had. Let's randomly push them together on the dance floor. You get Naruto and I'll get Sakura. Choji grinned. Yay. I just saw Naruto. Meet at the center. Ino nodded. Okay. Sakura closed her eyes and the music was making her go crazy. She opened her eyes to see everyone all sweet with each other. Sakura, you have to dance with us. I can't just leave you here. Ino said to her as she pulled her friend. I'm so stupid, you have to come. Sakura was dragged to the dance floor pushing past more people, but the more she was there, the more she wanted to leave. I shouldn't have come, Sakura thought as she pushed herself through the crowd, letting go of Ino's arm, ignoring her calls. All Sakura wanted to do was to get out. But suddenly feeling a big push, Sakura stumbled out into the center of the dance floor and bumped into another person. Both looking up, they saw each other. Naruto, she whispered, barely making a sound. All of a sudden, a bright light made a focus on them and all the music stopped. No one was near them and everyone's eyes were on both of them. Ooh shit, they both thought. Before any of the two would do anything, the beginning of Missing You by John Waite started to play as the stage brought up someone from the floor along with background dancers, all in sync. As the intro was playing in the background, it was making a lot of people to cry in the corners. Other couples slowly danced around Naruto and Sakura, who were both confused and flustered. Every time I think of you, I always catch my breath. And I'm still standing here, and you're miles away. And I'm wondering why you left. And there's a storm that's raging through my frozen heart tonight. Sakura looked at Naruto and then sighed. She couldn't be near him anymore. She wanted to get away before she did something stupid. I have to go, she said softly as she stepped away. But as she was turning around, she felt someone grab her hand. I hear your name in certain circles, and it always makes me smile. I spend my time thinking about you, and it's almost driving me wild. And there's a heart that's breaking down this long distance line tonight. Sakura turned around and saw Naruto's pleading eyes. No, please. Stay for a bit longer with me. We have to talk. She wanted to stay and forget everything that had happened. But it wasn't that easy for her. She somehow knew what it would be about, something with Ino and him. I ain't missing you at all since you've been gone away. I ain't missing you, no matter what I might say. Ino's eyes grew wide as she pulled Choji's tie. Who is that? Being all casual, he answered, oh, that's just John Waite. Neji walked up to them and activated the Byakugan. No. It's not John Waite. Choji looked confused. Then who is it? Neji deactivated his Byakugan and took a deep breath. It's Ninja John Waite. Yep. Ninja John Waite was singing on the stage passionately. There's a message in the wire, and I'm sending you this signal tonight. You don't know how desperate I've become. And it looks like I'm losing this fight. In your world I have no meaning, though I'm trying hard to understand. And it's my heart that's breaking down this long distance line tonight. Sakura took a step away and said, look, I understand, okay. Naruto's eyes lit up happily and relived, really? When did I tell her? He thought as he sighed with relief. Wait, she isn't responding positively. He really doesn't want me anymore. Sakura thought hurtful. She felt her chest squeeze and her nose hurt a bit. Trying to not cry, she nodded and started to walk away. Don't worry, I'll try not to bother you two anymore. Don't cry, Sakura, you knew this was coming. I ain't missing you at all since you've been gone away. I ain't missing you, no matter what my friends say. Naruto looked at her confused as she was disappearing into the crowd of crying people along with couples. He pushed himself through the crowd trying to reach Sakura before she really did disappear. Sakura, wait, he called out after her. And there's a message that I'm sending out, like a telegraph to your soul. And if I can't bridge this distance, stop this heartbreak overload. Sakura couldn't hold in her tears anymore. She covered her mouth as the tears streamed down her face. She pushed herself through ignoring his calls. I ain't missing you, I ain't missing you, I can lie to myself. And there's a storm that's raging through my frozen heart tonight. I shouldn't be crying for him. She angrily thought as more tears came down. It's the same luck as before. As she finally made it out of the building, she ran away from everyone. She didn't want to speak to no one or see anyone. She wanted to be alone, although deep down, she didn't want to accept their new relationship. This thing broke it. Ain't missing you, I ain't missing you. I ain't missing you, I can lie to myself. Ain't missing you, I ain't missing you. I ain't missing you, I ain't missing you. I ain't missing you, I ain't missing you, ain't missing you, oh no. No matter what my friends might say, I ain't missing you. As Naruto finally reached outside to look for her, she had already disappeared into the dark night. Why'd she run out crying? I didn't even say anything, he said as he looked around some more for her. But he could not find her that night. I think this is the longest chapter, besides the final one, that is. Anyways, hopefully starting on Sunday, I'll upload each day. So, wish for this laptop too.